What up, though, One Pride? This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, a podcast where One Pride goes worldwide. My name is Anthony Fitzpatrick. I'm joined this evening by Ryan McCluskey, which can only mean one thing. It is time for your weekly dose of college knowledge. Yes, it is the college football podcast, Mountain Bison. It is that time of year, right? It seems to be going so quickly now. We're halfway through February. The All-Star games have been and gone. The combine list has just been revealed today. That's going to be in a few weeks. And then it's pro days and the draft. This process seems to be going much more quickly than usual this year.
Yeah, normally it feels like there's a bigger gap between the end of the season and the let's say the playoffs to the draft, but now with the bigger playoffs, college football just feels like it carries a lot more into the season, and yeah, the transition into their pro days and that now is much more smooth for them. Like I said, they never really have much rest period now.
No, they don't. It's just all go, go, go. So we have a lot on the docket today. We've got some news to go through. Realignment. We can't be away for 2 minutes without having to talk about realignment. As we mentioned, the combine invite list has been dropped. A little later the time we'll go through the list itself. We're more just going to have a look at some of the guys who've been snubbed and what the combine is all about nowadays. And there have been some very noticeable snubs this year. And then our main bit. Last week I did a section on the transfer portal. Obviously, one portal window now, which seems to be great. I absolutely love it. It's worked so much better this year. But we went through the top teams in terms of how they've been ranked for the portal classes. But this week, we're going to take a look at specific players in general that we like who have moved through the portal. We've got three categories. We've got FCS to FBS. We've got Group of Five to Power Five, and then we've got Power Five to Power Five. Basically, the lower end Power Five players going to bigger Power 5 teams. And we're going to focus on specifically some of the players to watch for next year because there's going to be tons of draft content coming out. So we're still trying to do some college stuff as we go. This is recorded today. I do apologize, but when we're doing prospect stuff, I've got about a billion screens up at the moment. And if I try and run a stream as well as do all this, it's just not going to go well. So I'd rather do it good in a recorded setting. As always, if you have any questions or anything, just pop them in there and we'll move them to next show. And I'll be in the comments, no doubt, when it's going live anyhow. So yeah, just any comments, thoughts, put them in there. You all know the drill by now with housekeeping and that. Road Lines UK, followers, likers, all that good sort of stuff. We really appreciate you. We're just going to dive down into the stuff today because as always, we always have a lot to talk about. And we're starting in the news, and it's been a while since we did a pod, right? But it doesn't matter here, there, or everywhere, no matter where we go, no matter how long we take off. Conference realignment will always be with us and will not go away. Now, so there's been a lot of movement from the FCS to the FBS in recent years, like Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State, Delaware, Missouri State, and a lot of these teams have had good success making the move up, but it got to a point where we're like, right, where are the next tranche of teams going to come from? Because a lot of the bigger teams have moved up, but then the Power Four, the Dakotas and the Montanas, you're thinking, are they going to make the move? Are they going to stay comfy? It's maybe difficult to see where the next team was coming from, but this week, the biggest domino of them all, which may lead to the next wave of teams moving up from the FCS, has fallen, and it's the powerhouse, it's the champions, it is the North Dakota State Bison. We have pontificated for years about whether they will move or not, and they have finally made the move up into the FBS. They will be moving from their home in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, and instead, they will be taking their talents and their Bison to the Mountain West. And the other surprising thing is, it's going to be happening immediately. So, in this year, 2026, there is no transition period. There is nothing. They are coming, whether the FBS likes it or not. That means the Mountain West is going to be able to field a 10 team division this season after its own losses North Dakota State are going to join UTEP and Northern Illinois in making the move into the conference. The Bison, I mean, their renown is all over the place. They have 10 FCS championship wins since 2010, and overall, against FBS teams, they sport a record of 9 and 5, so they're nearly 2-1 wins when they've been playing FBS teams anyhow. This is an expensive move for them. We wondered whether teams would court them and pay them. It's the other way round. They've got to pay the NCAA 5 million for the FCS to FBS transition, and then they've got to pay a further 12.5 million to the Mountain West as a joining fee. That is broken down. They need 7 million paid by July, and then it's 1.1 million per year for the next 5 years. And the even more unbelievable fact is they are not going to get any cut from the Mountain West's new TV deal, meaning for at least the next 6 years, they're not going to have access to TV money either, though they will have access to any money made from the Mountain West's upcoming streaming platform, which is the conference's own. It is not up yet. The dividends have not been made as to which team's going to get what from that. They think it's going to be on a subscription basis. But yeah, I mean, a lot of surprises here, right? Obviously, we wondered out of all the teams, would it be the Montanas or the Jackrabbits who came first? Don't think we expected the powerhouse to come, but they're coming and they're paying a hefty price to do so, which shows it's not necessarily all about the money short term. They really wanted to make this move, and this is a massive get for the Mountain West after losing a tranche of their best teams to the Pac-12 this year.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear the numbers, it's not too surprising that their biggest rivals aren't following them. That is a hefty fee. And like I said, to not get a cut of not take a slice of the pie, they're going purely for the football purposes. Like I said, they're probably going to make a loss on revenue in the recent years because obviously the Fargo Dome is quite a small ground, very small capacity, indoor arena, no room for expansion. So they are capped in what they can earn as a program most of the time. So this is going to be quite a big outgoing for them. It's quite a ballsy move in that sense if they're going to be running a potential operating at a loss. So very interesting to see how this pans out. They clearly think straight away they will be competitive and try to make, like I say, hopefully in the as soon as they get eligibility of a title game. They must be looking at the Mountain West right now and thinking it is an ailing conference that's been hurt by its own success, losing teams, then trying to find them, and it's struggling now. It's rebuilding, and they're hoping to capitalize on that. But yeah, one big domino falls. Like saying, you've still got the Jackrabbits, the Grizz, and the Montana State Bobcats. They're like the now three-headed big monster in the FCS. Like I say, at what point does the outweighed of how much money it'll hurt them become feasible to make sense to make the jump?
Yeah, it is. And you say it's going to have the biggest repercussion for the FCS because now that just breaks open their playoff retinue entirely. I know obviously Illinois State won it this year, but by and large, North Dakota State are always the team round there. It's going to be interesting to see who fills the power void for now, but it does feel like the Mountain West and North Dakota State football, that goes hand in hand. You know, like we've loved Mountain West football for long. It's trench warfare, it's dirty, it's gritty, it's exactly how the Bison play. Like they will take to that conference like a duck to water. And again, some of the big teams aren't around, but you got your UNLVs, you got San Diego State who send talent here, there, and everywhere. It's a good conference for them to join, me feels like, given the style they play and what they'll bring to the table.
Yeah, because they want to run the football. They have a lot of QBs that are running quarterbacks, very mobile, agile, physical. So they fit the brand of football that is played outdoors. Like I say, obviously they're an indoor team, but they're used to playing cold games, that climate in that part of the country. So yeah, they'll suit to that as well. Playing at altitude shouldn't bother them as well. A lot of the Mountain West is high states. So like I say, you're playing quite up, so but that shouldn't bother them either. So yeah, I think they'll find their feet very quickly. And yeah, if the program is going to expand and they do outgrow the Fargo Dome, well, like I say, give it a couple of years and there may be room for expansion or maybe possibly to relocate. Like I say, once the bigger crowds start to come in. But yeah, I'm with you. The big gaping hole now left in the FCS. There's one team that's in D2 that has to make the jump now. It's got to be Ferris State. When are people looking at them like, when are they going to go to the FCS? They dominate in Division Two. They're getting NFL level talent. Like I say, they've got a tremendous record in recent years. Like I say, stacking titles and big program. Michigan, like I say, big state. They're very competitive. I mean, yeah. So at some point, one of these big D2 teams, you've got to think it's got to make the leap. It'll just be on financial constraints for them as well. But yeah, be interesting to see
Well,
now in the next 12 months what happens, how the landscape changes.
and with the success, I guess, of Tarleton State, who just made the jump, didn't they, from Div to well,
Yeah.
5 years ago, and they're deep in the playoffs. You're right. Ferris State should probably make that jump. Um, Obviously, the next big domino to fall, and the other team who've been pushing Sacramento State, have been pushing a similar package to what the North Dakota State Bison have just paid, 10 million plus and forfeiture of league revenue. They are offering to conferences to make the jump up. It now seems to make sense. Apparently, one conference is listening to them. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the Mountain West as well. If you get Sac State, because it's in that part of the world as well, the Mountain West region. Sacramento is in that area, so geographically it's a fit. It's a big program looking to make its move forward. Like if you're the Mountain West now, surely you're the team who listen to them, because if you get Sac State, North Dakota State, then if the Montanas and that decide to come, this is maybe they're playing the long game here. With those four teams and Sac State in the Mountain West, that could become a super conference pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think Sac State, as you say, are well respected. They're a team that they're not strapped for cash either. They're well funded. They're publicly backed. Like I say, they've got good facilities. In recent years, they've done a good job of taking the FBS cast-offs. Like I say, it didn't work out, but they got Jane Richarda for a year. Like I say, so and a former five-star QB. So they are seen as a place where reclamation project players can go, and the staff's getting younger. Lots of plenty of former NFL and collegiate players, like I say, have walked through them doors in recent years as assistants or coaches. So it's a program right now, like I say, that is thriving. It's firmly in the public eye, and I'm with you. I think if anyone's going to stump up $10+ million in the next 12 to 18 months, I could see it being someone like them.
Yeah, I think that'll be the move. I think that will happen sooner. There'll probably be a fight between them and the pack, but it makes sense for Sac State to come up to the Mountain West as well, and then you can move later on if you wish. But yeah, North Dakota State, we are going to see them, and it's going to be next year. They have had to change their schedule completely, which I don't know how it's worked down in the Missouri Valley, but they've already got their conference schedules for next year, which is just crazy. It's odd to see it right away as well, isn't it? They're conference based.
Yeah.
Like Sac State are an independent. They could get away with it. Like they could come up right away. But I mean, for the Missouri Valley now, I mean, just out of curiosity, there, who do you think's going to run the show there now that North Dakota State have gone? Because it's still a heady conference with a lot of contenders in there, but there must be some teams in there like, oh my God, like Christmas just came early for us. They're gone.
Yeah, like I say, this is pretty big for that the rest of the teams that are currently there right now. So, like I say, they will be reeling to lose them this time. Like I said, reschedule it all. I'd imagine right now they're not too happy about how this is transcribed in recent weeks. But yeah, like I say, one team's loss is going to be another one's gain. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out this year. I mean, obviously Illinois State have just gone the whole way.
Mhm.
Youngstown State, the Penguins, very competitive in recent years. Like I say, South Dakota State, interesting year, but yeah, it feels like if the Redbirds, Illinois State, wanted to take a grasp of that conference now, now's probably the best chance they've got in recent years. So yeah, it can be an interesting tussle for power now.
Yeah, it is indeed. All right, we'll leave the realignment chat there for now, but no doubt we will be back in due course because it is just never far away from the table at all. Other little bit of note there. This one's for mile marker because I know we'll be watching eventually. But Minnesota made themselves a new hire today, a very good one. Kansas State linebacking coach Steve Stannard is going to Minnesota. He has coached nine all Big 12 linebackers in the last 6 years, including Austin Romaine. That feels dirty what he's going to do with the talent he's got there at Minnesota, but that is one hell of a hire for them. So, keep a close eye out for him, Mama, because Steve Stannard, yeah, you're gonna have some big problems on that defensive line now. He is going to create some absolute monsters, some of whom we're going to talk about in a little while. Anywho, that is sort of it news-ish wise for now. We're not going to take a little dive down into the NFL Combine, a little bit of draft stuff before we get back into the collegiate stuff. And the Combine list was released today, Rye. Over 300 odd players get to this thing, but despite there been so many players invited to this event. It feels like every year they somehow manage to drop the ball in terms of who they do and do not invite. And I remember last year when they did, we had a lot of reservations about the lack of FCS talent, Division Two talent. The guys who could really use the combine to further their draft prospects instead of all these scrub middle management types from your Alabamas and that who've just had very mediocre college careers and don't really have pro focusers who don't really need this because they're just not going to do anything. But then they get invites and these small school guys don't, and it's no different this year. As I say, we'll go through the entire full list at a later date because again, 300 players, it's a lot to take in, but very noticeable again this year how smaller school guys have been ignored for this. And guys who have spent a lot of their time at small schools and have maybe spent 1 year in the FBS, but just to put some names on the table of guys who haven't gone. You've got Jaden Duggar, the linebacker from Louisiana. You've got Cole Wisnowski, the safety from Texas Tech, who's one of the best safeties in the country this year. Tyron Montgomery, the Division Three standout from the Senior Bowl, who everybody was waxing lyrical over, forgotten. Keyshawn James Newby, the outstanding edge from New Mexico, who's had one of the best edge rushing seasons of everyone this year. And then the big one that I want to talk about first. Landon Robinson, the defensive tackle from Navy, is not going to the combine. He has been on Feldman's freaks list since he entered college. He can squat like 700 pounds or something like that. If there was ever a man bred in a laboratory to go to the combine and absolutely ball out, he would be that perfect figure of a guy there. He's undersized, so he needs the combine to go there and be able to talk to people and show that he can do it at the next level. But I mean, it just seems like we go through this year on year, right? We have these talents from Group of Five schools, FCS schools, Division Two, whatever schools. The guys who've really earned it and have had to fight like hell to get to where they are, getting foregoed for a lot of just mediocre guys who are just not going to do anything. This year's no different. Like, how can Landon Montgomery miss out? He would probably, Landon Robinson, he's probably going to break every DT record in existence.
Makes it. I'm with you that a lot of these guys need it more than others. We too frequently do we send household names, like I say, that are literally just some of them can literally cannot raise the ceiling anymore because they're already going to be taken, they're capped, and they're taking the spot of someone that is going like say UDFA that could go round five, fringe first round players, like say someone in second, third round that could destroy the combine and absolutely could fly up boards. So I'm with you. Like say a guy that's incredibly athletic would have tested super well, but also would have probably done really well in the classroom. Coaches would have liked to get to know him, put him in situations, like I say, give him the player calls, the designs, check, like I say, you see the tape and that, but you want to know their IQ, you want to know their football acumen. Like I say, when they're watching tape, do they actually understand what they're seeing, or do they just kind of naturally go out there and do it? Like saying like first person. So I'm with you. He's missing a big opportunity to be able to get to talk to as many, like say, scouts, position coaches as possible, and that's a real shame for him.
Yeah, and then you sort of have a look around, you look at the QBs. there's no Mark Granowski there this year. And like the work
He had a
he's
good year at
done.
Iowa. That's why he transferred. Like,
Yeah, and he killed it in the Shrine Bowl. Like, he was literally the best quarterback at the Shrine Bowl. He's killed it this year in a Power 5 environment. Yes, he's played in the FCS his entire career, but no invite. And then you see Drew Aller, who's been injured all year. You know, you've got guys like Jalen Daniels. I mean, no disrespect to him, but at the same point, is he better? Probably not. Hell, the current North Dakota State quarterback's going, Cole Payton. So why is Granowski not going? You've got Sawyer Robertson. There's so much met in the quarterback group this year. You feel like Gronowski's done everything possible, could probably do with the combine, and also not going.
no, like saying Iowa, by their own standards, a quarterback play this year was pretty high standard. Mark elevated them, like you say, left after a brief stint and did himself the world of good, and really should have done enough to earn a combine invite. Like I say, he's a good dual threat quarterback. I've seen him, like I say, he's a tremendous athlete. He would have tested very well and done his world, stock the world of good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then other snubs, because there are tons of them here. Mikhail Kamara, the edge from Indiana, did not get an invite, despite being one of the most destructive edge players in college for the last few years. He only had 2 sacks this year, but his run defense improved massively, all round. Everything you kind of want from him. He didn't get a go from this. Wydett Williams, the safety from Ole Miss, didn't get a look in, which is crazy. The other one, Cole Wisnowski. How has he not got an invite? Like, you followed him from his FCS days. He's just been absolutely fantastic. Another North Dakota State prospect, no, goes to Texas Tech this year, looks damn good, wins some games from by himself. I remember the game he had 2 big pass breakups in the end zone, in the playoffs. Not got an invite either, and it's like, you look at some of the safety in him, they're just not as good. Cole, that's terrible he's not got an invite.
No, it's like I say, I think he had 9 interceptions in his time in the FCS. Was a big time transfer that came in straight away, and yeah, was part of one of the best defenses in the whole country. Him and John Curry built a really good partnership between that weak side linebacker safety combination. They're one of the best pairs in the Big 12. He had a really good year. He's well built as well. Like I say, he's well over 6 foot. He's a good build guy. He's a good all-rounder. Like I say, excellent special teamer. He would have done really well in, I don't know, not a good safety class. Or not, I mean, you've got the high level names, but then you've got a big myriad in the middle.
Mm,
Like I say, well, like I say, yeah, Miles Rouser, long time Arizona State safety. Like I
yeah.
say, all-star game, didn't get an NFL combine invite. Very talented. Like I say, a lot of people online really like him. A lot of upside. He really could have done with a spot at the combine as well. It's a shame to not see him there.
No, and then obviously the one that feels like one of the bigger snubs as well, and this is the problem I have with the bowl games, like the All-Star games, is you get there and loads of people start hyping guys up and then they get forgotten about. No, Tyron Montgomery, the Division 3 wide receiver who goes and lights up the Senior Bowl against much better opposition, and everybody's all over him as a prospect and giving him love and that. And a couple of weeks later, you're not going to give him a showcase at the biggest of them all. And you look at this wide receiver list, you got guys like Vinny Antony on there, and just people you've not like people who've just been okay and haven't really got much in them. And then you're like, what do they need? What more of a step up do they need than someone like Tyron Montgomery? It just goes to show all this hot air they blow about people at the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl, the Small Bowl guys. They don't last with it for long. It's just a flavor of the day, isn't it? For content, they don't really believe in them. That's why I find it very hypocritical that everyone backed him at the Shrine Bowl, at Senior Bowl week, and he doesn't get to go to the combine where he, more than anyone, would benefit from this.
Yeah, like I say, it's makes you think, like I say, you can put in all that hard work, like I say, and no, like I say, nobody watches the game. They're like, so the All-Star games because they're a bit pointless because they change QB 5 times. There's no rhythm. Most of the times they're pretty unwatchable. The practice, you're just doing your best to try earn a spot at the combine, where, like you say, millions of eyes will be watching you. Like you say, every out analyst and scout, like you say, will be, like you say, making or breaking you. And yeah, you can do everything there, and then when it really matters most, you don't get the shot. like I say, and we know as well how many people go to the combine that are injured and
Hmm.
they don't do drills, just there to talk, ask questions. Let someone do the bloody drills then. Like you got to have like a list of people, like I say, and they take a spot. And sometimes, like I say, you just feel like it's not filled. And like I said, a big snub for me. So Bryce Lance, obviously, great player, FCS receiver, but who's his brother? Like I say, obviously Trey Lance, well known. Not the best receiver in the FCS. That's Daniel Sobkowitz, the star from Illinois State, one of the best receivers in the whole country. Just won a national title in one of the biggest upsets in FCS history. He broke records for touchdowns and receptions in the career. Not on the list. 6'3", 205 pounds, fantastic athlete. He should be at the combine. He's a potential absolute undrafted star. And like I say, he's had the year career. They've had their best ever season in history. How is that not enough to like say get an invite to like say when he needs it the most?
Hmm.
Like I say, Bryce is a great player, but if he wasn't called Lance and his brother wasn't Trey, does he get here? Probably not, no.
No, and you got to figure it's the school name as well. It's oh,
Yeah,
North Dakota State's all
Bison.
the
The
rage. Like
Bison are famous. The Illinois State Redbirds. People just they just
no,
don't care about them.
no, they don't. And I think that's the thing. Like, the Bison have just had two offensive linemen win a Super Bowl in year two, and like, oh my God, we got to get the prospects from them. But I agree, it's just hypocritical all year round. This goes back years. I remember back years when we were talking with Gerald. It was all about, and this was the HBCU guys. This was Sunday Arthur Anderson, who had one of the best Shrine Bowls in years for an edge player. Got to the combine, did everything he needed to. Was he at the combine? No, he wasn't. And there were just a load of scrub edge guys who ended up not even getting drafted there instead. And it's just, yeah, it just annoys me. As I say, there is lots of good talent on this list, and we will go through it a bit closer to the time, but we always like to complain when it comes this time and give some love to the guys who haven't got their opportunity. As I say, you could keep going with this. So I'm not gonna yeah, guys like Josh Moulton, the quarterback out of Southern Missouri, Southern Miss, he didn't get to go. Enwakobia, the safety from SMU, didn't get to go. But hey ho, we will um we will circle back round to that one. Anyhow, we're gonna move it on, and that was the end of our draft talk for today because we are going to talk transfers. And as I mentioned on the last show that I did, we did the top transfer portal classes of this year as according to On3 and 24/7 Sports. But this week we wanted to focus on individual players who are transferring. And, obviously the transfer portal is the subject of much conversation and discussion about how it's done, obviously in the age of NIL and everything. And rightly so, it gets a lot of stick, but the portal does exist for a reason, and it is to allow talent to naturally gravitate up towards a higher level if they feel to. And these guys who've done well at the FCS level, the Group of Five level, it gives them a natural step to move forward, even if it is a system which is abused quite frequently. But it does have a good core at its heart. So there's a lot of good players who have moved this year and have upped themselves to the next level, and we kind of wanted to shine a light on these guys going forward. So some names for you to keep an eye out in the future. As I say, I've divvied it down into three categories. We've got FCS to FBS, Group of Five to Power Five, and inter Power Five transfers. Ryan's got some as well, so we'll do it bit by bit. But first off, before we do, I feel like the move to a single transfer portal this season has been wildly successful. I much like this format. Yes, a lot happens in a short amount of time, and people can still commit to this point as long as they're in. But I like the change, right? I think the fact that we've not got a spring portal coming up now, all the moves are done and dusted, rosters will be settled. I want it to stay like this. I think it was much better this year, even though it was absolute manic fitting it into a 2-week window with so many players going in.
Yeah, it was chaos. Like you had thousands of players in, like say, one small window going in, the portal closing, and you still got like 2,000 names in the hat. I mean, we did see a lot of players, I think, this year withdraw because, like you say, because it's so hard now. I think you're going to see a lot of players enter, sit, think about their options, watch destinations quickly get snapped up, and then probably remove their name pretty quickly. I think that'll be a case now of a lot of them where they're just Not because they necessarily want to stay at the current school, because they don't see any destination better in such a short period. So some will be forced to sit. But honestly, I'm okay with that. It means these guys are going to have to be a lot more smarter about their decisions. Like I say, if you're going to enter the portal, you've got to do it early. We've seen some quarterbacks enter the cycle, like I say, really late. And yeah, slim pickings by then, to be honest, find somewhere that could potentially start or make an impact.
Yeah, I think a lot has, and looking at, I've gone through most of the classes now, looking, like I say, a lot have returned, and you can see where the schools are doing well that are not hemorrhaging much talent, and you can see obviously the ones that move head coach, where some teams have had like 50 in, some teams have had less than 10. It's quite intriguing. It shows you a lot, but a lot of teams at the bottom have been doing much better recently. Like Hawaii this year lost like 9 guys, and that was it. In previous years, it'd have been 30, 40. They'd have been absolutely rinsed. But I think just having this one portal now, especially, teams can't get poached now. The players you've got, you've got. You've got your high school class coming in, which is going to boost you even further. I like this new system. So, as I say, we've got 3 categories here. What I'm going to do, because we talk about them for a bit, I'm just going to flash up my screen now with the list on so you can see the guys that we're going to talk about, and then I'll flash it up at the end because I've got lots of other screens I need to be on as well. So, just let me share my screen here. So this is our group that we're going to be looking at from the FCS to the FBS. So I've got 10 of each. These numbers, it's not 1 to 10, number one being my favorite. I've got like 4 pages of transfers in my book here, and I had to try and decide which ones I want to put on for all these. So there's 10 of each, and there's an honorable mention as well. But the FCS guys we're going to be talking about, we've got loads of safeties. The safety CJ Richard, the safety Dylan Rousey, safety Mackay Smith, running back David Amit, offensive center Trent Fraley, offensive tackle Michael Bennett, tight end Chris Corbo, linebacker Cam Santee, safety Nate Robinson Jr., and linebacker Patrick Bauer. And you can see there the teams they are at to the teams they are moving to. Just, and I will bring that up towards the end again so you can have a look. But I need to go through my thing. So the first one, and I've got an honorable mention for these because I completely forgot I'd not got him in here. And I know this is one that will intrigue you. Right. It's an Iowa transfer. The honorable mention here goes to LJ Phillips, the South Dakota Coyote running back who just broke all sorts of records last. I'm assuming he broke all sorts of records last year. 295 carries, 1,922 rushing yards at 6.5 yards per carry with 19 touchdowns. He had 2 games where he had 4 touchdown performances. Did well in the playoffs as well. 3 touchdowns in 2 playoff games, and a lot of these I've looked at, right? It's not necessarily where they're coming from or what they've done, it's where they're going as well. The reason he's an honorable mention is because Iowa, I find, like to develop their own players. Like the most of their draft prospects are career Hawkeyes, but he's only had 1 year as a starter down in South Dakota. He's young. He's going to have time to develop. And you think, what has Iowa done with running backs in the recent years? Yes, the Gaudy numbers are from the FCS, but there's got to be a part of you that's like, I'm excited for this one. LJ Phillips in Iowa next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good addition. It's a good fit as well. Iowa's lack of a vertical passing game always puts pressure on their interior run. Say they've done really well at, like you say, one offensive lineman. They're going to see at least 3 drafted this year. They've recycled them as well. They always have experienced guys on the interior helping move the pile, which gives a chance for these guys to eventually make a next level jump. And this guy, yep, LJ was tremendous this year. Like I say, short, muscular stature, well built, not got a lot of mileage on the clock right now. So it makes sense to get out of South Dakota while he can. Like I say, he's just seen the Mark Gronowski transfer go well. Like I say, they've dipped back into the portal again this time. They're showing a bit more willingness, a bit more flamboyance now to bring in these big time transfers. like I say, make an impact. So it should work pretty well for him there. Should see a big workload in his first season there, and the potential for growth behind a talented offensive line in a gritty offense, which will hopefully maximize the best out of him. So this should be a pretty good fit all around for them again. Bearing in mind as well, they're bedding in another new quarterback. That probably leans to more as well. Strong run game will be focus.
Yeah,
Kirk
yeah.
Ferentz, he's old school. Like I say, he's very much we set the run to open up the pass.
Yeah, absolutely he is. I'm looking forward to seeing LJ Phillips there. In terms of the 10 main guys we've got, as I said, this list starts off with a lot of safeties, and maybe no one more intriguing than the young true freshman safety from the FCS champion, CJ Richard. He is 6'1", 190 pounds, and he is joining a Florida State Seminoles team which has just lost all its starting safeties to the portal and is in desperate need at the position. But for him last year, 529 snaps as a true freshman, run defense graded at 83, the tackling was over 90, but he had 51 tackles with a 2% missed tackle rate. He missed literally one tackle all year. Nine run stops, two interceptions, two pass breakups. NFL passer rating against him of just 51. And, we saw what made this Illinois State team tick last year, right? The defense especially came up clutch in the playoffs. He played every single game in the playoffs. Two interceptions in the playoffs against UC Davis and Villanova. They were both on the road. He had a pass breakup as well. Played some of his best football on the biggest stage of them all. Has got himself moved to a team who, and it pains me to say this about them, they draft their DBs very well. Usually, and the young stud from this Illinois State team, he's not the only one who's moved up this year. Got to feel good about his prospects going to this Seminole team that's rebuilding.
Yeah, they were one of the best secondaries in all of football last year. They took the ball away a lot more than most sides in the FCS. They had a whole cluster of ball hawks. And this guy, like I say, this kid came in among some savvy veterans, won a job for himself, and was part of a crucial unit and played his part on his way to a national title. So he does not look out of place at all, playing amongst much more experienced guys that have held the position a lot longer than him. Brought a breath of fresh air. And like I say, joining a secondary that has now just kind of had big turnover again for a team that it is flailing. The Seminoles right now, they're not in a good place. They're not where they want to be. Like I say, so them taking a chance on a young kid like him makes a lot of sense. Like I say, he brings with him a good level of production, brings in an appetite, and also want to test himself at the best level on a team that is hoping to bounce back this year. So kind of the perfect storm really for him. Makes a lot of sense to maybe kind of, I don't know, jump like say a few rungs on the ladder very quickly. If he comes in and makes an impact straight away, he kind of gets a head start on being a household name towards like 2028 onwards.
Yeah, he does indeed. And he's not the only true freshman safety moving out of the FCS into specifically the ACC as well. Louisville won the highly coveted transfer from Murray State, Dylan Rousey, and he just absolutely knocked every single number out the park last year. He's 6'1", 195 pounds, not a bad build. 817 snaps in his true freshman season. His run defense was 89 plus. His tackling was 93 plus. In his true freshman year, right, he had 142 tackles from the safety position with a sub miss 5% tackle rate, 20 run stops, two forced fumbles, a sack, only gave up 64% on receptions against him. It was 16 of 25, two interceptions for the young man, one against South Dakota State as well. The Jackrabbits, one of the better teams in the NFL, in the FCS, my pardon. And again, this is sometimes the good thing about the FCS. These young guys you can just go in, get a full season under their belt, and just look like stars because they get to play so early. But I mean, Louisville got themselves one hell of a player here. 142 tackles at safety in your true freshman year, and you are good to go.
Yeah, like I say, this kid does not shy away from contact at all. Like I say, he's more of a physical box safety. Like I say, flourishes in the run game, takes good angles, comes downhill fast, like I say, covers ground quickly. But yeah, as sure as they come, like I say, you don't get many more established, polished tacklers out of true freshmen. Like I say, low missed tackle rate, good technique, not putting himself in harm's way, physical contributor. Like I say, in a Louisville team that was very competitive down the stretch, had a real shot at an ACC, but they were left found wanting. So he's joining a team right now that he's riding the crest of a wave. They do have momentum. They are on the cusp of potentially competing with the very best and earning maybe a playoff berth. Like I say, a title, winning the ACC next season will not be out of the question at all for the Cardinals. So them getting a big time addition like that, someone ready to prove that they're ready for the next level, that's got a ton of production behind them, makes a lot of sense for him.
And they've done good with their safeties in the portal. They got JoJo Evans out of Florida International here. Shout out to him. He liked one of my tweets today. So appreciate you, JoJo. But yeah, that's going to be a big get there for them. So Dylan Rousey, Murray State safety going to Louisville. Keep an eye on him. And then the third of four safeties here. This one's very intriguing, Ryan. Mackay Smith, the Lehigh safety, going to Minnesota, and I have waxed lyrical about Minnesota's transfer class. It is fantastic. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. Sweet spot. Exactly what you want. He graded 90 via PFF last year, 80 against the run, 89 in coverage. His season last year was incredible. 49 tackles, 15 run stops, a forced fumble, gave up just 56% of receptions against. It was 14 of 25. Four interceptions on the year for him and a pass breakup as well. Passer rating against him of just 50. He's been a starter for a year and a half now for Lehigh. Got over 900 snaps under his belt. But, right, the way he's built and the way from the team that he's going to, from where he's coming from, Lehigh football, Minnesota football, teams that love to ground and pound, that love the guys who are strong, who can take the ball away. And obviously, Coy Perich gone from Minnesota this year. They need another ball hawking, tough tackling safety in there. Probably not going to find a better option from the FCS than a Lehigh team that also do exactly the same as what they do. They run as fast as they can. You've got to live for run defending down there in Lehigh. This feels like a match made in heaven for the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, the Skyhawks had a top 10 defense last year in rush defense against the run, a scoring defense. They were top 10 like in all major categories, the Mountain Hawks. They say their whole playoff run was predicated on their defense. And one of their coaches there, like I say, some very famous FCS coaches that led the way, very experienced, that are good at nurturing this talent. Like I say, and this is a big loss for them personally because they came up short in their playoff run. So losing a player of this standard hurts them. But with you, Minnesota has got a big gaping hole on its back end now. Like I say, they'll lose John Nestor, I think maybe their outside corner. Coy Perich, Nestor also played a bit of nickel, could play safety. So that back end does need a bit of revamping now. And yeah, the Golden Gophers, they've gone out there, got some of the best guys available at this level to come in, help plug a hole straight away. So yeah, they're getting a guy that's ready to slot in straight away and doesn't need any bedding in. So I expect them to keep that physical downhill brand of football next year. And yeah, this guy gets a big step. And the Big Ten right now, Tyneman, Perich, Caleb Downs, like say the kid from Penn State in this class as well. DB Central. I think the best, probably some of the best safety play in the country is usually in the Big Ten. Like I say, they're kind of growing a bit of a precedent now. Like I say, they're getting some of the big pickups. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense for this kid to see that as a potential route to the next level.
Yeah, it does indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing him play that. I'm looking forward to seeing that Gophers defense this year. And again, we will talk about that a little later. But after three straight safeties to start us off, we're next going to running back. And this is one of those where you are trusting the school and its process of finding talent and finding the right guy there. And we're coming to your home, right? We have the running back David Avit out of Villanova. He is coming to Arizona State after two very productive years with the Wildcats. 1,625 yards, going at 5.5 yards a clip with 17 touchdowns. He grades over 90 as a runner in both seasons. 80 missed tackles in that point, over 1,000 yards after contact, capable of pulling off the big runs. Now, I know that your room is sort of between the two Brown brothers, Kyson Brown and Jason Brown. They both had their injury issues, but if anyone's found portal running backs better at the FBS over recent years, it is Arizona State. And Villanova, the Wildcats, been in the playoffs. Cam Scatterboo came from the FCS. You would figure they've done their homework on this guy and they've got themselves a supreme prospect to potentially fill the burden in that room left by Rakeem Brown going.
Yeah, like you say, it's been a tough portal. Raleek Brown gone. Kanye Udo didn't play at all much this year. It just didn't work. Transferred out. That leads Kyson Brown and some young guys. Like you say, they've had Xavier Valade. They took him from Wyoming, 1,000 yard rusher, sent him to the draft. Like you say, did same with Scatterbo. Like you say, came from the FCS, 1,000 yard rusher, sent him to the draft. Like you say, Sean Aguayo has done a real good job of scouting running backs from the potential. Like I say, this guy, he's built more like Kanye Udo at like 6 foot, 215, 220 pounds. Physical, big, muscular, upright runner. Like I say, they do predicate themselves on that trench in their run game. Like I say, bedding in a new quarterback as well after the loss of Levitt. So it does feel like another year where they will lean heavily on their run game. Like I say, Kyson Brown, still very effective. Had a good year last year. We'll hope to split carries. But yeah, bringing in, like say, an experienced guy with a good amount of carries under his belt that can take the toll and the physical punishment if needs be at like 6 foot tall makes sense. Like I say, if it does, he plans to probably be a bell cow. Like I say, he's going to get a lot of short yardage work, but he has also got the burst. So yeah, this is a big chance for him, like I say, to come to an offense that has now built a bit of a reputation as, like I say, NFL scouts watching the backs coming out of Arizona State. Like I say, because their offensive coordinator and their running game has been so strong for the last half a decade. So yeah, this feels like it fits a need. It might not be flashy, but it probably helps get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. I would figure they're going to do really well with him there. So we'll see. But David Amit, the Villanova Wildcat running back, now at Arizona State. When they bring a guy in, you keep an eye on him. To make the halfway point of this list, maybe a bit of a Nepo pick here, but I'm really
I think this
intrigued
is
to
my
see.
favorite player on the list.
Okay, so maybe a Nepo pick this year, but we'll see. Offensive center Trent Fraley. Yes, the son of Hank Fraley. We mentioned him a while ago. He was a North Dakota State Bison man. However, he has made a move to the Big Ten, and he has made a move to Michigan to be closer to dad. Michigan State have invested highly in their offensive line this year. It's been terrible for them for years now, but they've made some big portal additions. You've got Ben Murakowski, the big left tackle from UConn is in, but Trent Fraley, 6'1", 303 pounds, started off at Marshall, got no look in there in his first 2 years. He's played over 1,700 snaps the last 2 years at North Dakota State. He's given up one sack and one quarterback hit on over 800 pass blocking reps. He is a monster in both facets of the game. Gave up just 9 pressures all year this year. And as someone who watches this team a lot, right, the anchor of what this Bison team's been about, come into a team which desperately needs someone like him, and you play well here at Mich State with this revamped line, you're going to show out. Big Ten linemen go like hotcakes in a draft. He's got the North Dakota State experience behind him. I mean, the world is his oyster here for Trent Fraley.
Yeah, he's got a big chance here to make a name for himself in the 2027 NFL draft. Like I say, 2024 Missouri Valley Conference All Newcomer Team. 2025 this year, Remington Award. That's the best center in D1. Like I say, so each division, like you say, Phil Steele, offensive lineman. Like you say, first team All American. Like you say, FCS Associated Press first team, Football Central, All Missouri Carroll first team. Yeah, as you say, 29 games. Like I say, I think he played, like I say, and started. So he played basically every snap available in his time as North Dakota State. Like I say, very good run heavy offense, incredibly physical. Also brings some experience as well, because like I say, he did go to Marshall University. So I think, like I say, he has had experience around a P4 locker room before. So Yeah, he's come away. He's the best version of himself right now. Like I say, Michigan State badly need a spark on that offensive line to help them. Like I say, and if this kid comes in straight away, brings the experience, elevates from around him, then in you only get a handful of good centers every year in college football that are even worth drafting. I mean, yeah, he will certainly put his name in the hat in a year's time. And honestly, if he does really well, would it be a surprise to see the Lions grab him 2027? Of course it wouldn't. It just would make too much sense. Like I said, the kid could be playing his way into Honolulu Blue if he plays his cards right.
Mm. I guess the only thing that kind of works there is the 6'1"ishness. Maybe he can grow another inch or two. That would
His
be
head is a bit
great.
sharp.
Yeah. So you kind of hope he just maybe grows another inch or two. We'll see. But I guess, I mean, a fourth year guy is going to be about 22 now. So we will see with that. But yeah, but Trent Fraley is coming to the Big Ten, North Dakota State to Michigan State. And the offensive linemen continue. And I know Paul ain't going to like this one, but he's in here. You've got the offensive tackle, Michael Bennett, who is moving from Yale to Oregon. And I know Oregon, after the Saki and World experiments this year, the last thing they'll want is another transfer at tackle. But I love this kid. 6'5", 310 pounds. Absolutely perfect in terms of the size weight ratio you want. He has been a 3-year right tackle for Yale. Over 2,000 snaps as a starter, has consistently been good with his pass blocking. Just 4 sacks, 3 QB hits given up in his time there. The run blocking's increased from 53 to over 73. Obviously, he's a big unit, been taking his time to get adjusted. But as we saw last year, the Ivy League teams are getting a lot more competitive now, and the talent they're sending out has never been in denial. And this kid's just got everything you want. One, he's got the Ivy League education. He is smart. Those things are like gold dust. You always appreciate these guys are dedicated, they are committed. You have to be to work your way through the Ivy League. He's a 2-time All Ivy League player. He's a 3-time All Ivy League honoree as well. So again, sats up to what he is as a person, and he's also won the Jerry Nason Award in the at the FCS level. That honors a senior athlete who has achieved success in football against all the odds, which again goes to his, the fight and the grit in him. So he enrolled in Yale in 2022, but his father died literally just as he began his collegiate career. And his family, who basically live on the other side of the country for him, he's been supporting them with the money he's been making from afar. They said he's been a standout model as a person, as a family guy, whilst trying to do his Ivy League, whilst trying to do his Ivy League work and trying to be a football player as well. Like the amount of perseverance this guy has shown to get to where he has now graduated. He's got what he needs. Like I just love the tenacity and the build behind him. And you go into that Oregon team, and again, yes, they'll be smarting from some bad ones, but as I said, right, you don't take these Ivy League prospects for granted anymore. They are talented. They're very smart. Their football IQ will not be put into question given where they are. And Oregon will, I mean, the 1 year left. He obviously feels like he's going to get his chance to shine there. He wants to increase his draft stock, but you wouldn't bet against him.
No. And if anyone deserves their chance to prove themselves at the highest level, I think it's Michael Bennett. Like I say, Yale, like I say, capitalized on that first Ivy League berth. Like I say, had an insane playoff upset. Like I say, this kid is very experienced at that level. He's clever. He's well-rounded. Like I say, he's battle-hardened. He's come a long way for this chance to just get just someone to take a chance on him. Like I say, Oregon is firmly in win now mode. They've been ravaged by the draft. Like I say, a lot. And like I say, they've struggled this year, but they've got some big holes to fill in their defensive line. And that's why I like Dan Lanning taking a chance on a kid when it'd been easy to bring in a steady power four contributor to just plug a hole is going for a total wild card, essentially. Like I said, it's got a big reputation behind him, a good build, lots of experience. Could it be a disaster? And like I say, he flails, quite possibly. Or could it be like, say, the perfect year? He looks perfectly at home there, and you're talking about a kid that's instantly going to get some love in the next draft cycle after making the leap up if they have a playoff run. Yeah, quite possibly. So it's definitely, I'm willing to bank more on the latter. I don't see him sticking out too much at the next level. I think he should take to life pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you look at the big games, that decider against Harvard, and then the two playoff games. He gave up two pressures in those three games. Like that game against Harvard was massive for them. And then on the road twice against Youngstown, who you bigged up big before that playoffs, and then Montana State, who go on to, nearly win the entire damn thing. It's, impressive to him just how well he did in those big games, Sitches. So I would not bet against Michael Bennett when it comes to his prospects at Oregon. Obviously, he's going to have to earn it. They've got Ian Atcher and guys like that this year, so we'll see. But I like his prospects. Anywho, moving it on, we got four more here. So we got the tight end Chris Corbo next. He is moving from Dartmouth to Georgia Tech. He spent 3 years at Dartmouth, but great as a pass catcher over the last 2 years, about 900 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. But as a blocker as well in this Dartmouth team, he run blocks at over 70, which for a tight end is damn good. He pass blocks even higher. He's never given up a career pressure on any pass blocking rep from him whatsoever. He's 6'5", 245, and you go again to this Georgia Tech team. They love to run the football first. They were not long ago a triple option team who like to just run the football all the time, but you want a big, who's athletic, who can block well. I mean, he's had a very productive career at Dartmouth, right? You go up to Georgia Tech again, it feels like another good fit for this guy to go there, show off his receiving prowess a bit, and show off his big boy blocking ability in the ACC.
Yeah, like I say, the Yellow Jackets pride themselves on their run blocking ability first, which he will slot in straight away as an extra inline blocker. And like I say, they will then hopefully then give him the opportunity to flex him out a bit, maybe use him in the slot, especially in the red zone. Try to give him some more looks there. He brings a good level of receiving prowess to the game right now, and it's a team as well. And also right now coached, got chances to make waves in the ACC. This guy deserves a chance, like I said. And we've just seen Tanner Koziel, like I say, another, like I say, FCS transfer that's made a big name for himself at the FBS level. Like I say, and I'm hoping this kid can have the same impact. Because, like I say, the next couple of recent classes feels like uh, getting a lot in the name. He needs some like stout and like force the way to the top of the pile. So he's got a great chance to make a name for himself this year.
Yeah. Um, Hang on, just bear with me one sec. The connection went a little bit unstable. Hopefully that has fixed itself. Yeah, sorry, I missed that one. But yeah, Chris Corbo moving from Dartmouth to Georgia Tech. Got three left, and the next one, potentially one of the biggest ones on here. We've got the linebacker Cam Santee moving from Holy Cross to UNLV. And I like my UNLV linebacker, sit back to Jackson Woodard a couple of years ago. But this guy, Cam Santee, has been a menace for Holy Cross for the last 2 years. He's been a starter there now. He's got 1,300 career snaps for Holy Cross. He is 6'3", 235 pounds. You could not get a better build if you tried. But this year, he has just been something else. Graded over 90 as a run defender. Over 100 tackles, just a 12% missed tackle rate, seven sacks, five forced fumbles, a couple of pass breakups in coverage as well. Not his specialty, but this is a guy who's big, who's mean, who will stuff the middle of the field. But he's also one of these linebackers who's this blitz linebacker type who you can bring up to pressure and cause all sorts of problems in the opposition backfield. And we know with Holy Cross, right? Against the team we've gone back to again and again and again. They create players who can move up to the next level seamlessly and look tremendous. And you've got to figure this will be a big move for him. UNLV, it's got a former NFL, it's got former big time college head coach there now. It got a path through into the NFL. Cam Santi, just the latest that this Holy Cross team is knocking out. They're big, they're nasty, and they're ready to play.
Yeah, and they get used to losing their best players. Obviously, the Patriot League don't offer like graduate schemes. So naturally, their best players get to that their senior season, junior, and they're already thinking about making them jump up. So to them, it's just become natural that they expect to move on. But Santi's probably one of the best to have done it in recent years. Like I say, we saw obviously last big transfer was Jalen Coker. Like I say, he made the big time move. Now he's like I say household name in the NFL. But yeah, the guy's built in a lab. Like I say, 6'3", 220. He's long, he's rangy, he's fantastic in coverage. Like I say, he's good across the middle, moving side to side. But coming downhill, yeah, just got a nose for the ball. He's insane in around the tackle box. Force fumbles, he's got a good punch on him. He rips the ball out. He plays the ball wherever he can. Very productive. And then this year asked a bit more to also help in the blitz game, getting to the quarterback. So he's polished up his pursuit and finishing skills. He's coming to UNLV that, I mean, last year was a team built on nearly all transfers, had very little chemistry. But like I say, Dan Mullen, bloody hell, did a good job down the end of the year getting that, like I say, a bunch of bodge job guys to get together and come towards a unit. And like I say, and he trusts himself to always get the best out of his portal players. So I think this is a good fit for them this year. Big, productive middle linebacker inside. Like I say, so I'm hoping he's going to make the jump up and hopefully be a guy that they can lead on the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. They can. All right, we've got two left in terms of the FCS to FBS transfers, and we go back to safety now. We've got the safety, Nate Robinson Jr. He's moving from Marist to UTSA, and it's one of the best ball hawking safety who's coming up out the FCS this year. And again, UTSA are a team where you can get drafted from them amongst the front runners for the American. Their defense was an issue sometimes last year, specifically that secondary, and they've gone out and got one of the best in the business. He is 6'1", 200 pounds. He's going to be a junior this year, so he's got 2 years left, but his 2 years at Marist have been phenomenal. 1,300 just over 1,300 snaps for him. Over 100 tackles in that time. The missed tackle rating is 17, but he went from 20 down to 14 last year, so it is improving. But in coverage, he is phenomenal. Targeted 89 times, given up just 45 receptions, which is basically 50%, which for safety is excellent. 6 interceptions and 12 pass breakups. NFL passer rating against him is just 44, and he's only been penalized 3 times in his career as well. Technically sound, nose for the ball, run defense is decent, the build is good. Marist, not a school we talk about very often, but I mean, another one of these cities just coming up to take by storm, and the American is a good place to go test yourself. It is tough. There's a lot of depth there, but the Marist transfer, I think he's going to have a good year there at UTSA.
I think it's a great fit for him. Like I said, the Red Foxes, Marist, by no means a household name. Like saying this kid has played to a level where in the NL era they were never going to be able to keep all of them. Not 6'1", 200 pounds. Like I say, very well built, incredible production. Like I say, 22 career pass breakups in 2 seasons. Like I say, the guy plays the game like a receiver. He understands route concept. He understands leverage. Takes good angles. Great hand-eye coordination. Very well rounded. Like I say, immediately becomes one of the best free safety prospects in the conference, in my opinion. Not many will bring better ball hawking skills right away. And I expect him to be immediately in the turnovers from the first get-go. So yeah, got a chance to make a big name for himself in his junior year right now. Like I said, he does have a good year. May forego the rest of the eligibility. He might only need 1 year to give himself a real shot at having his name called.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is Nate Robinson, the Marist safety going to UTSA. And then final one on the FCS to FBS list, we've got Patrick Bauer, the linebacker from Illinois State, who is moving to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, obviously, fringe round one prospect in Goldoy from the linebacker position, need someone to replace him. And they have gone and got the heart and soul of the FCS championship defense, which we've mentioned already. He's been there 3 years. He was He was a fringe guy who didn't play. Then he was a rotational guy in 24, but this year he stepped up into that role. He's kind of one of these star guys. They play him as much in coverage as they do in run defense. He kind of plays all over the slot a little bit and also sees some defensive line work as well. But you're looking at one of these breed of almost star linebacker types. But yeah, he graded out this year at 74. He had a sack, seven quarterback hits, a battered pass, 70 tackles, 10% missed tackle rate for him, 20 run stops, but it's his coverage where he's great. He did give up 77% of his receptions, but for a linebacker, it is what it is. Two interceptions, three pass breakups, including one in that championship game against Montana State, where he had one hell of a day. But again, Cincinnati's fought a good defense, a much better team this year, which did a lot better in the Big 12. Lost its star on the middle of that defense. They went and got the guy who just led Illinois State to a championship down in the FCS. There again, a big gaping need, an experienced replacement, and if it goes well, maybe the next in a pipeline of Cincy Bearcats who are going to come up to league. He's got 2 years there, so he's under no rush to hit the ground running right away.
Yeah, he's leaving at just the right time. The stock's hot. Had a good name in the portal. Like I say, he's experienced, he's productive in the middle. He fits a defense, like I said, at Cincinnati that wants to be physical. Like I say, cares about its linebacker play, puts a lot of onus on them guys being the leaders. I imagine Bauer's going to come in straight away as a vocal character. Like I say, just led a strong unit that's won a national title, so he's not coming here to make up the numbers. Like I say, he's got a lot to prove at that level. And the Cincinnati team, you're right, they were very competitive in Big 12 play. Like I say, right now it is one of the hottest conferences, like I say, and you've got a chance to make a real name for yourself if you come in and do straight well. So yeah, I'd expect him to make an impact fairly early. Like so, with them having a need in the middle and him bringing the experience that they'll need straight away.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to do good things there. So just very, very quickly, I'll show you the list so you can see who we've been looking at. So these are the FCS to FBS transfers to keep an eye on. So the honorable mention, the running back LJ Phillips going South Dakota to Iowa. You've got safety CJ Richard going from Illinois State to Florida State. Safety Dylan Rousey going from Murray State to Louisville. Safety Mackay Smith going from Lehigh to Minnesota. Running back David Amit Fianova to Arizona State. Offensive center Trent Fraley from North Dakota State to Michigan State. Offensive tackle Michael Bennett from Yale to Oregon. Tight end Chris Corbo from Dartmouth to Georgia Tech. Linebacker Cam Santee, Holy Cross to UNLV. Safety Nate Robinson Jr., Marist to UTSA. And the linebacker Patrick Bauer going from Illinois State to Cincinnati. Moving on to the second of these categories we have here. Next, we're looking at group of five players who are moving to the Power Five. Specifically, a lot of these are younger guys who've got years left in them and are not like 6th-year transfers or anything like that going forward. So again, I'll bring the list up to start it and then I'll bring it at the end just so you can see where we are at. So the group of five transfers we're going to be looking at the honorable, well, to the honorable mention in a minute. We've got the safety Jamali Riddle. We've got center Anthony Boswell, edge Ryan Henderson, running back Cam Cook, tight end Dorian Thomas, safety Josiah McGrew, wide receiver Victor Snow, edge Elijah Hill, safety Ty Benefield, and DL Santana Hopper. We've got that there. Before I do, I should mention, were there any other FCS guys you wanted to shout out? I completely forgot on that one. Were there any other FCS transfers up?
Uh, Not super high profile, no. I don't think there's anything going to be. There'll be some, like I say, I'll have to have a look at more, like I say, any that went happened later in the portal, I think. So yeah,
Yeah,
set the world alight.
no, there weren't so many quarterbacks who came up this year. Or a couple, but there were six, like 5th-year guys who've made their move up. So, but anywho, yeah, right. So we're going to move it on to the group of five, Power Five transfers. The first, again, I've got an honourable mention because there were that many guys, but I probably should have put him on the main list here. But the honourable mention is the linebacker Owen Shambliss, who is moving from San Diego State to Nebraska. He's been at San Diego State for the last 2 years, broke out as a starter this year. Nearly 800 snaps under the belt for him. 3 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 16 total QB pressures. He's got a battered pass, a forced fumble, 110 tackles with an 8% missed tackle rate. Overall, he's at about 150 tackles with a sub 8% missed tackle rate, which is crazy, but it's his coverage where he excels. 27 receptions on 40 targets against this 67%, but one interception, 4 pass breakups, and not much yak after the catch with him. And coming from a San Diego State defense that was one of the best in the nation purely last year. Just there was no one else who really came up to them. Nearly won the Mountain West on the back of it. And he's going to a Nebraska side who forget the offensive side of their defensive prospects. You are very much interested in, and he's probably going to be one of the guys in the middle of that defense who's going to be the heart and soul of that Cornhuskers team. But he is very tough ride, built and bred in the Mountain West on one of the best defenses going, making a natural move up. Out of all these guys, you figured this is going to be one of the ones who slots in like that, and we will hear this name a lot in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, he's going to be a busy boy this year. Like I say, Nebraska last year left a lot to be desired. Anything that wasn't nailed down, kitchen sink, hit the portal that was remotely talented. So this guy immediately gets a chance to make a big name for himself. Like I say, he will immediately see the field straight away, can earn himself a lot of respect, potentially be like say maybe a future captain. Like I say, Matt Rule needs a guy that he can lean on. He needs someone that can put out there in the middle of that defense and call upon potential where the green dot and call a play. So he can be an extension of the defensive staff, bring the physicality he had at like say the SDSU and comes in straight away and should hopefully slot in and be effective very quickly. Like I say, hopefully win over Cornhusker fans pretty quickly as well.
And I mean, he's 6'3", 235 pounds as well. That's like perfect. I like my linebackers at that size and weight. Owen Shambliss is going to do really well at Nebraska this year, I feel. But he is the honorable mention in terms of the 10 I want to talk about. Starting off, the safety Jamali Riddle, who was in my team to watch from last year, hence why I know so much about him. The East Carolina Pirate. He spent the last 2 years there as a starter, so he's going to have 2 years in Georgia. 1,300 career snaps in those 2 years for him. He's got 140 career tackles. It's a 20% missed tackle rate, so needs to work on that a bit. But 45 run stops, 6 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups. This guy is a ball hawk. He started from day one as a true freshman, and I mean, fair play to him, Ryan. He's picked a hell of a place to go when you've got KJ Bolden leading the safety line in Georgia, but you figure 2 years left for him to go. Even if he doesn't play this year and just takes a bit of time to learn this system for when KJ Bolden does come to next year's draft as a top 10 pick. But you've got to really show something to be seen by that Georgia DB room, not be one of theirs, and for them to want to bring you in, especially at the Power Five. And he's excelled in an East Carolina team, which has been improving rapidly these last couple of years from where they were at, but he's a natural guy with a nose for the ball. We know Georgia love that, and whether it's not maybe day one, whether it's this time next year, you feel this will be a great transfer for him. And if he balls out here, the production he's had across his career, he could be looking at another big safety pick from Georgia in a few years' time.
Yeah, like you say, it's a testament to his hard work. True freshman straight on. And with you, the Pirates in recent years, rapid risers. Like I say, serious contenders, heavy scorers, high scoring defense, play exciting brand of football. This kid, like I say, has really made a name for himself. And yeah, like I say, there'll be a million kids out there that want to get scouted by, like I say, the Georgia secondary and DB coaches. And like I say, he's one of the fortunate ones that's clearly have taken a shine to him. So they do clearly see they have a plan for him to implement him. Like I say, as a rotational piece this year, maybe like I say we've give him a starter role in 2027. So it's a big chance for him to make a name for himself. Like I said, learn off the guys that are there right now that are potential bound for the NFL anyway. So yeah, he just needs to make the most of it, ride the crest of the wave, and hopefully, if he does hit, it's another success story for the Bulldogs to take credit for. So it's got a big chance to really, like I say, prove himself, and like I say, also like I say, Lee show that the Pirates are a good pipeline. Like I say, he can do them a world of stock good too if he does hit.
Exactly, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing his development there. I don't expect to see him day one. If he does, then bloody hell, this kid's potential is limitless. So that is the safety Jamali Riddle going from East Carolina to Georgia. The next up, we've got the center Anthony Boswell moving from Toledo to Houston, and this is another true freshman starter. He had his first year in college football last year. His first game was on the road in Kentucky. Now it is Kroger Field, which is not the most intimidating place in the world, but still, your very first opportunity at a Group of Five school to play is on the road against an SEC team. He did really well. Played over 800 snaps for the Rockets last year. Graded at 80 plus in both run and pass blocking. He gave up just two quarterback hits and eight hurries all season. Did get penalized 9 times. He's a starter. He's going to learn. That's going to get better. But the build 6'2", 293 just put a little bit of weight on him. But this is a Houston team that's going places, right? Keyshawn Henderson, the number one recruit in the nation coming out of high school at quarterback, is coming to campus this summer. Obviously, you still have Connor Weigman there right now. They've invested heavily in that offensive line and their run game to protect these guys. And with Toledo, we know they don't build their trench warfare players badly. These guys go up to the NFL level year in, year out from them. But as a true freshman with 3 years left, potentially at the start of what is going to be a very exciting Houston team going forward, you're looking at a potential number one center candidate in a few years' time with Anthony Boswell.
Yeah, big get for them. Like I say, a future anchor of the offensive line for the foreseeable future. And with you, it feels like only a matter of time before how Houston recruit in high school and also aggressively in the portal with talent they've got. It's a team that feels like it's ready to win the Big 12. Like I say, it faltered a bit down the stretch last season, but like I say, incredibly dangerous. Like I say, now they're getting a guy that's coming in that had a great true freshman year, big step up in competition, big step up in atmospheres week in, week out. But I feel like someone that looks ready to take on the workload. And yeah, like I say, thinking about say a couple of years down the line, a future centre class, this could be the move that does make him maybe, like I say, if the stars align, first round pick. Like I say, the centre market, centre class is valuable at the best of times, and especially as it gets more and more scarce. Some classes, like I say, are barren.
Yeah, there was a lot of competition for this kid's signature. So I think he's going to do it. And again, you might not see him immediately there, but you will do. He's 3 years of eligibility left. He's a lot of football left in him on a team which is going places. Next up, we're back to San Diego State again. Their edge rusher Ryan Henderson has moved to Texas A&M on the back of an 8 sack season, had a further 5 quarterback hits. Um, but you know, this San Diego State system, it's just also sent oh God, is it Trey White, the other great one they had there? He's just gone to a Power Four school. This is a system where you take note. Again, one of the best defenses in the country last year, led by him. Going to Texas A&M, where their edge rushers year on year are getting drafted. They're getting drafted high. They do develop a lot of their own. He's 6'3", 250, so he's in that bigger option of edge rusher because they like to drop him a bit. They like him to be good in run coverage. But again, you wouldn't put it past him. Very experienced now coming from San Diego State. Ryan Henderson going to Tamu again feels just right for him.
Yep. And that size and weight says to me Cassius Howell replacement. He's 6'3", 240. Like I say, he's not too heavy, but got a good frame. Like I say, Henderson brings power, brings a bit of ferocity, point of contact. Like I say, he's physical, battles hard, has explosion. But yeah, A&M will ask him to do things that SDSU never did. Like say, like feign, drop back into coverage, get up into passing lanes, use some of athleticism, work on the back pedal, like say drop across the middle, like say maybe running backs, tight ends pick things up out the backfield, where then we'll see a good look at his agility, his athleticism, his side to side movement, his balance. So we're going to get a real good look of him now in a much more pro style defense that's constantly sending edge rushers to the next level. Let's say they're just so well grounded, yeah. So if there's any flaws in his game, I'd say one, they will be they will be viewed, but also can work on them. Like I say, they do care about their defenders being good in run support.
Yeah, they do. And if he nails that, then, he's going to be an all-round player. So yeah, Ryan Henderson, the edge player, going from SDSU to TAMU. The next one, really, really intriguing here. We've got the best running back in the group of five. He is making his move up to the Power Five. You've got Cam Cook out of Jacksonville State, heading to West Virginia, and just to show the level he's been on. So he had 2 years at TCU, only one as a semi-starter, but Jacksonville State last year, 1,650 rushing yards at over 5.5 yards per carry and 16 touchdowns. But between his second year at TCU and last year at Jacksonville State, he's got 25 rushing touchdowns these last 2 years alone. And you look at the Gaudy numbers behind him, over 1,150 yards after contact. And he forced, Ryan, 101 missed tackles last year. I believe that was second in the nation, if I remember it rightly. But when you get to 3 digits for missed tackles forced in a year, this is one of the best in the business. Again, his TCU numbers were pretty decent, but he made the move down to Jacksonville State, which loved to run the ball, which has paid off big time. And now he's in West Virginia with Rich Rod, who loves to run the football. It didn't work with Jaheim White this year because Jaheim White was injured all the time, and it was not a good year for the Mountaineers, but you figure he's going to get it right eventually, and if he does, I mean, the Big 12 is in for a problem with Cam Cook.
Makes sense. Like I say, Rich Rod got into the Gamecocks, implemented a a strong run offense. Like I say, exploit Cam Cook. He moved on. Like I say, back to his roots, back to Mountaineers. So Cam following there doesn't surprise me at all in the slightest. Like I say, West Virginia's got a did a true freshman quarterback this year, didn't they? Did
Mhm.
struggle. So Rich Rodriguez will be looking to implement his physical downhill in between tackles run offense. And getting someone like him, a bell cow that he knows is able to share the workload and can implement this style of offense makes a lot of sense. So this is probably the most natural fit on the list. And if Cam Cook does do it there and he can do it to just as a high level, then world's the oyster. Like you say, when it comes to the next running back class that he declares for. So yeah, got a chance to really make a name for himself in the most competitive market in football, probably.
Yeah, yeah, and just in a conference that thrives on producing wonderful running backs, he's probably going to be the next one of many. And he knows the conference from his TCU days, so he's not going to be feel out of place with them. So yeah, Cam Cook going from Jacksonville State to West Virginia. And number five, we got the tight end Dorian Thomas heading from New Mexico to Cal after his big breakout game against Michigan, the first game of last year. Dorian Thomas had 560 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns in his debut season with New Mexico, had 56 receptions for 560 on the season altogether. He's 6'4", 239, so probably going to put a few pounds on this year, but he's going to a Cal team with Sagapolu at quarterback, who's coming into year two. They've kept him. They've got the new coordinator on his way down from Oregon. It's sort of all change, but Dorian Thomas as a run blocker as well, he's pretty decent. But you know, the young true freshman QB right now, he's a true sophomore. He's experienced. He's going to want people to throw out. And Dorian Thomas last year showed he could do it against the likes of Michigan. They had the trick play that they ran with him where he got a touchdown. That Michigan defense ain't no slouch. This feels like a really good under the radar move for this Cal team. He's not the only one on this list who's there either.
Yeah, Dorian Thomas, he was never going to be in New Mexico long. One of the standout at the position, like I say, the group of five, and it the class generally, like say transfer portals, like say especially tight ends, it always can be like say quite difficult the gap between the elite performers and those. So you do want to be in there, get there early. Like I say, it is a premium position and there's not always enough guys to go around. So Cal have done a good job here, helping like say a quarterback last year that was a breath of fresh air. Sagapola Taylor, like you say, a real standout and brought some optimism back to a franchise that frankly was in the mire. Like I say, they really did struggle. So this is another one. It's another flashy move piece. Like I say, he's a nice, silky, smooth runner with good hands, big productive year. And yeah, probably becomes a strong focal point right away, to be honest. I could see him getting the lion's share of the workload pretty quickly. Because as you mentioned, Oregon coach coming in, Sadiq, Ferguson. Like I say, Oregon was all about their tight ends in that offense and implement them in a big way. I expect them to bring that down to Cali. Like I say, implement them into there. So yeah, the timing probably couldn't have been any better of him for the coaching hire.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, and I know one you've taken a vested interest in, because again, we're back at Arizona State, but the safety Josiah McGrew is moving from Florida International to Arizona State. You'll know the name Josiah McGrew because he was on my group of 5 players to watch list we did at the end of the season. Weirdly enough, pretty much everyone on that list has moved to the Power Four now, so we didn't do too bad. But Josiah McGrew, a true freshman last year, played 770 snaps for FIU. Now, some of the numbers look a little bit gaudy here. The run defense needs improvement, the tackling needs improvement, but he was a true freshman last year. 77 tackles, missed tackle rate percentage of 19, 2 forced fumbles in coverage. 19 receptions given up on 31 targets. That's just 61% on an FIU team that got bombed a lot last year because the defense is, they always traditionally throw in it a lot. But 4 interceptions and 5 pass breakups for the young man. And this is an FIU school, which I've said on Twitter. I will make it official. It is DBU down there. Jojo Evans to Louisville last year, Hezekiah Massis to California last year. He's going to the draft this year. Brian Blades has just gone to Wake Forest. Mr. Clark has just gone to Purdue. They've sent a guy to, oh Christ, they've sent another guy to the Big 12. But Josiah McGrew may be the most promising of them all, 6'2", 185. And again, it's what you know and the teams you know, Ryan. One of the great things Arizona State have done in recent years, as well as their running backs, is their safeties and their ability to develop them. They've had losses to the portal this year, to the draft this year, sorry. It was a position that needed a rebuild. And again, just to us have someone who's so young, but coming from a school which produces top quality DBs, which can hit the ground running right away. You look at Masters last year for Cal. I mean, you've got to be looking forward to seeing this young man in an Arizona State uniform this year.
Yeah, like it's a big get. Last year, Arizona State went to the portal and got Adrian Wilson, the safety from Washington State. Came in this year, was a big part of their team. And like I say, a long time, like I say, fan favorite Miles Rouser is declared for the draft, should do pretty well, but that leaves a big hole on the back end. Like I say, and you don't always want to keep going getting these experienced guys. So to go out and get someone like I say that had a pretty stellar true freshman year, big build for him to put weight on. Like I say, run defense tackling, yeah, it needs work. It's scruffy, it's untidy, but it's a lot easier to teach that than to be able to clean up, like you say, bad coverage and ball skills. He brings in ball skills, like you say, he'll be very much probably thrust into a starting role pretty early, I imagine. Like I say, he brings in, like I say, a lot of pedigree, good frame, like I say, so he should hopefully fit in with a lot of experienced guys around him. Because there'll be a lot of fifth, sixth year guys that have decided to come back and try to get that Big 12 title back. So a lot of guys he can learn from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing Josiah McGrew this year. We'll see how he beds in, but I think he'll be a mainstay in that Sun Devils team sooner rather than later. We're on to the last few now, and yeah, people are going to scream, "Oh, this is nepotism at its top here because it's the team he likes." But I'm really intrigued by this one, Rye. We've got the wide receiver
Super
Victor
talented.
Snow. Victor Snow is moving from Buffalo to NC State. He's small. He's 5'8" and 168. I think he's putting on weight, but he
He's
is not.
explosive though.
He's not the biggest guy in the room, but the last 2 years, so this is his 5th year. He didn't play in his first 2 years barely, but the last 2 years at Buffalo, he's got nearly 1,500 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns, and he gets a lot of it after the catch because he's a very refined route runner. Just 2 drops last year on the season on 88 targets. His hands are good, doesn't fumble. His contested catch ability is at 60%. He's 16 of 27, which for a guy who is 5'8" tells you what he's all about. He is a slot receiver. I think he's going to fit in so well to this NC State system, right? And this is a team that develops its receivers well the last 2 years alone. Last year we lost Casey Conception to Texas A&M. This year Alabama came and took Noah Rogers away from us. Two big SEC programs taking our star receivers. Creating these guys is not a problem at Raleigh right now. And Victor Snow is very experienced, like you say, very explosive. I know you especially have had an eye on him for a while now. I feel like this is somewhere he's going to go, and he's just going to fly right under everybody's radar. But I think he's going to eat in the ACC this year with us.
Yeah. Big chance as well, like I say, because special teams returner. Like I say, he had a punt return for a touchdown last year. I'd expect straight away, if he's going to work his way into the rotation, he'll be probably fielding catches pretty quickly to try earn a starting role. And he is a big guy. It's a Casey Concepcion, like I say, made a big name for himself, like you say, in those facets of the game. Just very dangerous putting the ball in his hands and then letting him work his way through traffic. Victor Snow will look to do the same thing there. Gadget plays, like I say, jet sweeps. Like I say, he was in the backfield a bit last year for Buffalo. Like I say, had some rushing touchdowns. There's things you can do with this guy. Like I said, his small size kind of works to his advantage. He knows how to play the game, like I say, being smaller, being lighter, and the right kind of coach, like I say, the right kind of offensive mind will be able to integrate this guy into an offense that was pretty explosive last year. The big time quarterback that can make players extend his legs. So yeah, hopefully in all phases of the game, Victor Snow definitely makes an impact this year. I think, like I say, he'll look to just be a kind of guy that, like I say, on the field at all times, like you say, make some splash plays. Overall, yardage, scrimmage yards would be a big thing for him this year. He'll spread the load around where possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing Victor Snow. So yeah, Victor Snow, the Buffalo wide receiver, moving to NC State. Get ready to hear a lot about him this year. The last two, I've got three more. The edge, Elijah Hill, moving from Kennesaw State to Kansas State. Another true freshman working his way up. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying he's got some big issues, but if anywhere can sort him, his move from Kennesaw State to Kansas State. Kansas State pride themselves on that defensive line. He's 6'2" and 230, so needs to add a little bit of mass on. But last year, as a pass rusher, learning his trade, 11 sacks, 3 hits, 40 total quarterback pressures for the young man. And I did a little bit about him during the middle of last year. I love him. I think he's tremendous. And going to a team, so he's got a 47% missed tackle rate from last year, which is absolutely astronomical. I know. But in fairness, he only had 9 tackles on the year. So it's not like this uber tackle. It's not like he's got 47% on like 100 tackles or something like that. The run defense was graded at 43, but in terms of the raw pass rush he's shown that he has everything about. This guy has so many pass rush moves as well. It's unreal for someone who is so young. But at a team like Kansas State, right, stuff like tackling, your run defense and that, they will fine tune the edges with him because they're one of the best at it in the Big 12 there. They've got a lot of pressing needs on that line now, but in terms of just the pass rush ability itself, if they get the other bits right, you've got potentially a very special player there. He's got 3 years, plenty of time to develop, and a name we could be hearing a lot, like we do with a lot of K-State edges.
Yeah, like I say, they have got a knack in recent years of finding guys that have got a knack of getting to the quarterback. Like I say, they are productive in the backfield, but they're also, like I say, comfortable dropping into coverage. Like I say, these kind of guys that are those, they like their tweeners. They like those kind of guys that do everything well, don't excel at some stuff. Yes, there's some glaring issues to work on. But like I say, they know that they've watched the tapes, they've probably crunched the numbers, probably looked at his game, know where to refine it. Like I say, and the staff that are there in recent years, the kind of talent they've worked on, they'll probably know, they'll feel comfortable looking at his game and think, yeah, we can improve that match tackle rate, that run
Yeah.
support, and then also lean on the stuff that makes him really good. So yeah, it's a big time move for him. Like I said, the Owls had an absolute tremendous year. Like I say, the kid, like I say, done real well. He's getting the profile, like I say. And to work with, like I say, some fantastic coaches at K-State gives him a real opportunity to work on his game and improve it. Yeah, he's still got a lot to learn, like you say. He's still got a lot of eligibility ahead of him. So yeah, sloppy now, untidy, but there's potential there in the right scheme.
Absolutely, there is. At number nine, I'm really intrigued here. We've got the safety Ty Benefield.
This is a
He's
big move
moved.
that I didn't honestly didn't see happening.
No, he's moving from Boise State to LSU. Now, Ty Benefield has been a fixture on that Boise State team for the last 3 years. He's got 1 year of eligibility left, so he's going with the big move and the draft stock in mind here. But he has been a monster. Over 2,100 snaps for them, about 220 tackles, an 18% missed tackle rating over his career, meh. 71 run stops, two forced fumbles, but in coverage, five interceptions and 10 pass breakups, although the passer rating against him is high. He's been prone to the odd big one against him in his career. But he plays a lot at strong safety. He's a hybrid. He's played 755 snaps in the box at strong. He's got 740 at free safety. He's got 600 in the slot. So very much a do-it-all guy. And LSU not beyond putting transfers in there. Obviously, AJ Halsey coming to the draft this year. He was a transfer from Houston last year, another ball hawker who came in, made that spot his own week one. Obviously, I love AJ Halsey, think he's next level. So obviously, Ty Benefield is going there. He's not going to sit for a year with only 1 year of eligibility left. Coming from a good team, a tough hitting team, but like you say, this is a big jump up, and he's going to have to do a lot of work to get in this team. But if he does, the experience he has, the nous he has, this could be someone who just flies up draft boards next year if he gets it right.
That's the thing I found confusing, like I say, because LSU was last year Deshaun Spears. He was a fantastic addition at safety. Like you say, he in small sample size looked really talented. They've got Cooley, Marcus Cooley. Like you say,
Yeah.
so AJ Halter was going to NFL. So he's joining an experienced, talented room, which does offer the stumbling block to playing time, and with only 1 year of eligibility. I suppose he's probably thought, like you say, that the SEC, like you say, the national media, the attention, the big time games is probably the chance right now to be the biggest name for himself in the shortest period of time. Let's say he's probably got, so of all the players we've talked about in this group, he's probably bringing the most production, experience, versatility, as you say, between free safety and playing in the box. Has got a lot of avoided serious injury as well. He has been pretty available for most of those 3 years. Very productive. So yeah, I mean the NIL obviously can't be bad as well. He'll be earning good money, be well compensated for
Oh
this move.
yeah.
So it's a shrewd business decision. Like I say, if he can take snaps away from Cooley or Spears, that'll be a testament to himself. And as you say, the chance to rocket up draft boards. Like I say, every man and his dog has tried to get to LSU this year. They've been the most, by far, the most aggressive team in the portal. They have
Oh yeah.
opened books. Yeah, this will be one of those where it either goes really well, like say on the national stage, highlights himself as a veteran competitor, or fizzles out, rotation player, limited snaps, frankly becomes an afterthought and might be a mistake. So it probably goes one of either way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which way it is right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's certainly. I think he's risked the most by his move. He might be the one who
Yeah,
sees the
because he's
least playing
joining
time.
an experienced backfield. He
And
is not guaranteed playing
And
time.
in a critical year, it's not like a Josiah McGrew who's a true sophomore this year, who's got loads of time left and can miss a year. He can't miss one, otherwise his age goes up. So I'm intrigued. The one I am most intrigued about, though, and because he keeps defying expectations, and I've loved this kid since he was at App State. We've got the defensive tackle Santana Hopper, who is moving from Tulane after a 1 year stop there, and he's going to Colorado to join Deion Sanders and crew for his last year in college football. Now, over the last, he's had 2 years as a starter at App State. He's had one in Tulane as a starter, and he rocketed up last year. He'd not played more than 400 snaps in a career before last year. He played 660 for Tulane last year, so showed he could do the added workload. He's 6'2" and 265 pounds. He shouldn't work as a D tackle at that level. I mean, he plays sort of as a five tech, three tech type guy, so he does play a little bit more to the edge, but he's always traditionally been a 3 to 5 tech tackle. Over the last 3 years, 15 sacks, 19 quarterback hits for him. I mean, he had 4 sacks and 12 QB hits this year, 40 pressures in that two-lane defense, which again was one of the best going. 100 career tackles for him, an 18% missed tackle rate, couple of forced fumbles in there as well. And this is a kid who, despite being 265, kind of working more on the interior, has the pass rush repertoire than Nows. I love his arsenal of weapons. It's just, will the size do it? He's coming to Colorado, which has just not had a good defense for time immemorial now, but a chance to show out in the Big 12 against some good linemen, Ryan. This new team, obviously, Brennan Marion's there now. They've invested a lot to try and get better again. I am so intrigued to see how he does in the Big 12 at his size and weight. But if he has another year like he does, it's going to be one of the best pass rushing D tackles in the next draft, period. Done it at pretty much every level.
Yeah, I like this fit because, like I say, Colorado are down bad. Terrible year. They've all gone. The Dion Magic, I mean, looks like it's all been used up, and they could use a potential spark, especially on that defensive line that offered very little on the most part of their defense did. So yeah, like I say, undersized guy, but year in, year out, does do a good job of, like say, doubt silencing the doubters, the haters, like say, proving that he is very effective. Like say, now gets a chance to go to a team that badly needs him and his talents. He could go there and hopefully become their, like say, biggest weapon, the guy that can single-handedly take over a game on his own. Still a big market, get a chance, like say, give himself some nice big nationally televised games. So makes a lot of sense for me. This is a big game. Like I say, he's done everything he could at Tulane. Won. Coaches have departed. Right time to move on. Like I say, yeah. And Boulder, they need a hero.
Yeah.
They need some guys to come in that have got something about them because their last class and transfers this year didn't do well. Didn't go well last year. The guys they brought in didn't make an impact. So there's a big gaping hole left. Someone to come in and bring a little positivity, a little bit of juice.
Exactly, there is. Right, that is the end of the group of five to power five guys. I'll just quickly put it up again so you can see who we've mentioned. Linebacker Owen Shambliss from SDSU to Nebraska. Safety Jamali Riddle going from East Carolina to Georgia. Anthony Boswell going from Toledo to Houston. Ryan Henderson, the edge, going from SDSU to TAMU. We've got Cam Cook, the running back, going from J-State to West Virginia. Dorian Thomas, the tight end, going from New Mexico to Cal. Josiah McGrew going from FIU to Arizona State. Victor Snow going from Buffalo to NC State, the wide receiver. Edge Elijah Hill going from Kennesaw State to Kansas State, K-State to K-State. Safety Ty Benefield going from Boise State to LSU. And Santana Hopper, the defensive tackle, going from Tulane to Colorado. And that brings us on to our last group of guys. The Power 5 to Power 5 guys. Now, there's a lot of these are going from smaller Power 5 programs to bigger Power 5 programs. Um, and usually I'm a small school guy, but with all these ones, there are a lot of guys who make me excited out of all of these guys we've been talking about who reside on this list. And we'll show you the list just before we start it. So on this R10 here, we got the edge TJ Bush, the linebacker Rasheem Biles, linebacker Cade Uluavi, defensive tackle Francis Brew, wide receiver Ian Strong, cornerback Jontez Williams, traitorous offensive tackle Jacarius Peak, cornerback Bo Masco, linebacker Austin Romaine, and safety Terry Moore. And I'm so looking forward to talking about these guys. First, the honorable mention. The defensive end, Toby Osunsanmi, going from Kansas State to Indiana. Now, Indiana, right, they've invested a lot in their portal this year because they're losing a ton to the draft. They're recruiting well, but Mikhail Camara's gone. They need a new guy go in. Osunsanmi, at the start of last year, especially in that Island game, was an absolute menace for the first 4 or 5 games of the year. Then he got hurt, and he didn't play for the rest of the year. So this is kind of a if Indiana get this version of him that started well last year, Austin Samney is going to eat in this Kurt Signetti defense because it thrives off big, powerful guys like him who love to make life horrible for quarterbacks. And I feel low key, this is a really good pickup for Indiana if he gets healthy again.
I remember this guy on that rainy game in Dublin on that terrible pitch. He was.
Yeah.
Didn't this guy have an absolute monster game?
He had like 3 sacks. He
Yeah,
ruined
this
Iowa
guy, like I say, was an
State.
absolute menace in terrible conditions. He capitalized. He overwhelmed an offensive line, like you say, and played wasteful quarterback. And as you say, unfortunately, had the season cut short, nagging injuries, holding back his impression. But yeah, Kirk Signett, the way Indiana treats the portal, like say they do their research, they probably look at stats, analytics. That I think they approach it from a very methodical. They don't just go get anyone. Like I say, they look at guys, like I say, that have got potential, like I say, that have struggled at schools or been lack of roles or are ready for a big jump, like I say they are now. They're a serious contender year in, year out. Like I said, I like this fit. As you say, they've had a good now track record of bringing in guys that have got to find their feet quickly. It's a simple scheme, or they make it simple enough to like say they can contribute early and quickly. Yeah, hopefully we see the best of this guy. We've seen small sample sizes and flashes, didn't come to pan now, but yeah, he's got a chance to make a real name for himself against the best D lines in the country. Like I said, this is really where you will go up against probably the best offensive linemen as well. This is
Yeah.
where you really want to test yourself against these like the Big Ten all lines.
Yeah.
They bring the metal. Like I
Yeah.
said, they will make you better.
Yeah. And they've bought a lot of guys from the Big 12 this year. So the new quarterback's a Big 12 guy. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does there for sure. But getting on to our list of actual guys, the guy I'm most excited about of everybody, and people might look at his PFF and go, what the hell is he on about? But we've got TJ Bush Jr., the edge from California, is moving to Minnesota now. I've been watching TJ Bush since his true freshman season at Liberty back in 2023. This kid is exciting as hell. He's had 3 uber productive years, 2,000 college snaps, had spent the last year at Cal, his first in the power ranks, 36 pressures, 5 sacks, 8 QB hits, batted pass, missed tackle rating below 12%, 37 tackles on the year for him. He's 6'3", 265 pounds. He is the absolute ideal for me. He is a great speed rusher, got a big wide variety of pass rush moves on him as well, and he's strong as a tree trunk. But he's going to a Minnesota team which has just got a new rush ends coach who's come from Kansas State, who has produced some of the best edges in the country in recent years. You're going to pair these guys together. He's had 2 years dominating Liberty, right? He's had a year in the ACC feasting on Group of Five opposition. You're going to bring him to Minnesota now. This is a big year again, same as Austin Samney. The level of opposition you're up against is huge, and it shows the men from the boys. But I've seen 3 years of this kid dominate, and I think he's going to do it again at Minnesota.
Yeah, I liked him at Cal. It's a big loss for Cal. He was a prominent guy, part of their pass rush, like I say, and he's bringing some of that physical brand of football. He's a good finisher. He's good in the backfield. Their loss, unfortunately, will be Minnesota's gain. Like I say, had a good year last year. Like I say, 5.5 sacks. Like I say, contributed as a good guy to be able to get in the backfield. Fairly well rounded, like I say, and now comes to a team that needs pass rush help. Like I say, Minnesota have had guys in the past, but collectively as a unit do lack consistency at getting to the quarterback. But it's a well-coached defense. Like I say, they do a good job at bringing guys in the portal and making impact. So I like this fit for him. I think it's a good pick, like I say, to hopefully, like I say, maybe work the run game a little bit, like I said, become a little bit more astute in setting the edge. But like I say, we know that he makes the splash plays very well. Like I say, he's got a great, good job at getting in behind the line of scrimmage where he does his best work now. So yeah, hopefully helps add to a Golden Gophers team last year that we saw flashes from. Like I say, they just lack consistency. But yeah, it's a good get for them.
Hmm. Yeah, I love this Minnesota transfer, especially the defensive transfers. It's going to be a problem this year. But moving on, there's a lot of defenders on this list, and potentially the most destructive of them all, Rasheem Biles, the linebacker from Pittsburgh, going to Texas. You know how Pitt like to play. They love to blitz. They love to get after quarterbacks. They are aggressive as they're dominant against the run. This kid spent 2 years as a starter in Pittsburgh. Now he's 6'1", 220, one of these hybrided star linebacker types that Pittsburgh love to use. But he graded 90 against the run last year. But over his last 2 years, 12 sacks, 8 quarterback hits, 5 batted passes. I mean, close up on 170 tackles, nearly 100 run stops, three forced fumbles, three interceptions, and six pass breakups in coverage. He was one of the most destructive outside linebacker types in college football last year, right? And you're going to pair him with Colin Simmons on this Texas defense, which traditionally loves these guys. Anthony Hill Jr. has gone this year to the draft. This guy's going to slot right in and replace him. And you feel like out of all the fits of everyone we've talked about today, this just feels like the one where he's going to fit like a glove, as they say.
Yeah, if anyone is making an instant impact and putting themselves into, like you say, a future award winner, like you say, it could be Rasheem Biles. Like you say, we knew Pitt had a pedigree. Like you say, for the recent years, the guys have sent to the next level at these very positions, and we know that Texas predicates himself on a stout front seven. So when you get a chance to pick up a player of this caliber with this much, like say, experience behind him, but also, like say, with good level of production, you can't sniff that up. So yeah, this guy was probably the most well-rounded linebacker outside of the SEC this year. So bring him in the SEC. Like say, Phil Hall left behind Anthony Hill Jr. was a hybrid freak himself. Like I said, this guy will probably slot in as a day one starter. I expect him to contribute and contribute quickly. Like I say, Texas don't like how last season went and they want to fix that very quickly. So being aggressive like this and bringing in guys to contribute, quickest way to get back to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, Texas's transfer class was just absolutely insane this year. Like the amount of talent that they've put on that team to go next year. Like Cam Coleman's gone there, Hollywood Smothers, Raleigh Brown. Like they've just redone the running back room. We got another one on this list going there. So Rasheem Biles, I'm really looking forward to. He is going to be absolutely devastating in Texas, and people will learn his name quick. We've got another linebacker up next. We've got Cade Oluwavi, who's moving from California to BYU. Now, PFF hates Cade Oluwavi, and that kind of influenced my feelings on him to begin with, but he is a 3 year starter from this Cal team ever since he was a true freshman. He's played over 1,500 career snaps for the Golden Gophers, and he's for Golden Gophers for the Golden Bears. And he has put up some numbers in his time there. He was Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2023. He was an All ACC honorable mention in his sophomore year. He's played 34 games at Cal, 237 tackles, 21 and a half tackles for loss, six sacks, three interceptions, six pass breakups as well. He's just kind of been this do-it-all guy for them. And Cal last year kind of took a bit more advantage of his pass rush ability, but he's never graded above 60 in any in PFF in any of his years. I don't get it. But again, specifically what intrigues me about this move, Rye, he's going to replace Jack Kelly at BYU, and BYU do the finest linebackers in the country. It doesn't even matter if they make it to the NFL. They have some of the finest linebackers going. Jack Kelly leaving is a massive loss for that defense on the heart of it. And in return, they've just gone and got one of the most experienced guys on the market who's gritted his teeth at Cal, not through the easiest of times, who's vastly experienced, is do it all. Like, if there's anyone who's going to suddenly just pop up and the grades are going to start going this year, you figure him in the middle of that BYU defense is a recipe for success.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense for him. Woody's from Utah, so he's basically going back home. So he's a local kid. Right, and I mean, is this the kid that was transferred to Clemson and then there was tampering talks? Is that
Oh, I
not
don't
him?
know. Maybe, I don't know.
I
I will have
think I'm
to.
sure like he committed or someone like tweet when he committed to Clemson and he backed out. There was tampering talks.
Oh, okay.
I think it was him, but yeah. But this kid, tough. Didn't this guy play with a club? This guy
Yeah.
played one hand all year. Because I'm pretty sure he broke his wrist or like he like say dislocated loads of fingers. So he's played like say with a beach ball all season. And it did not stop him at all. Like you say, he never left the field where he could. He was incredibly vicious coming downhill, strong in the run game, got the most sacks of his career. It was the best year of him finishing in the backfield. Had another couple of four passes defended, and with you, that big linebacker that, like, say, they used to like rush the passer with Jack Keller. this guy's a good fit. He's well built, he's tall, he's muscular, he's aggressive, comes downhill hard, has a strong nose for the ball, like I say, brings leadership. Great fit to, like I say, a physical BYU defense that really does care about, say, stacking the box, making it hard to run on them. So yeah, he'll fit in like a glove straight away. Yeah, this is a guy that he ain't gonna leave the field this year if he can't. Like I say, he'll be a mainstay in that Cougs defense.
Yeah, it's his draft year, so you've got to go all out, try and get to a Big 12 championship and show yourself there. But I think Loki is going to do really well. Someone who I've switched my mind on over his years. So that's Cade Uluave going from Cal to BYU. Next up, and another intriguing one here. They're all intriguing, but you know what I mean. Francis Breu, the defensive tackle, another Pitt defender, and he's going to Notre Dame. He's spent a year and a half as a starter in Pittsburgh. Overall, 4 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 18 quarterback hurries. He's got 31 pressures altogether, 44 tackles, a 13% missed tackle rating over his career, although it was only 10% this year. He got better at forced fumble, noted run defender for Pittsburgh. Again, we know what these guys are like. They're very disruptive. They can win the one-on-ones, a lot of tackles for losses in the backfield, can get to running backs quickly, bring them down here going to Notre Dame, like the school for defensive tackle. They got, was it Riley Mills going to the draft this year, I believe. Like it's just the defensive line
Back
knocks
in
them
the
out
Super
again
Bowl,
and
yeah.
again and again. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Riley Mills just won the Super Bowl with but they've got D tackles going this year. Like it's a place for him to take his next step. He's been on this fearsome Pitt defensive line, which is plucky, but the team's just kind of not good enough to go and win the ACC. But now at Notre Dame, he's got a playoff stage to play on here, and they pride themselves on their defensive tackles. They have to be the best of the best, and this, if he settles there and plays well, he's going to be one who's going to be draft talk all over the show. He's good, and he's picked a really good spot to land here, Francis Brew.
Yeah, good need for them. Like you say, Notre Dame, they set the tone with defensive line. Everybody else kind of follows from that sort. They need guys that are able to win in the middle. Their interior guys are really important to them. They have to be able to get to the quarterback, stand guys up, like you say, create those mismatches. It's a good fit for him. Like you say, they've seen in recent years, they've had production on their D line at getting to the next level, getting combine invites, Senior Bowl, those big games. So it's a big brand and a big market for that position. So it makes sense for them to go there. Like I say, Notre Dame gives him a chance to make an impact in the playoffs as well. Pitt's good, but like I say, a young quarterback, probably not ready just yet to make that leap. So he's banking on himself, and the Chrome Domes are able to make a rush from you. But I like the fit, and hopefully he's able to, like I say, go show there, like I say, what he's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing Brew there at Notre Dame. Next one. Now, this guy had a bit of a
This one surprised
sentimental,
me because I thought this player had to go to the draft.
yeah, but this is a sentimental soft spot because we've kind of low-key like admired this guy from afar and on a team which, we show a lot of love to. The wide receiver Ian Strong has gone from Rutgers to Cal to join the revolution there. 6'3", 211, like perfect build for an outside wide receiver. He spent 3 years at Rutgers as a starter. He could have declared this year if he wanted to. He's got about 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns over the last 2 years, but altogether he's got 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns for Rutgers over the last 3 years. He's dropped 3 passes in the last 2 seasons combined on over 150 targets. Considering on the outside as a contested catch guy, he's awesome. 43 of 74, nearly 60%. Um, you know, he he's been on a. I mean, I don't say I love Rutgers, but Rutgers offenses have been tough to watch. He's had Calliot Manis throwing it in for the last 2 years, and he has been a consistent producer for that team who's done a lot of dirty, nitty-gritty work on a team where it's tough to win sometimes, and it's not the easiest. And he's been the model of consistency. Now going to what's probably going to be a lot more free-flowing, attacking Cal team where he might be able to really break out his shell and knock out one of those 1,000 yard seasons and really make a name for himself going into the draft. But This feels like a well-earned thing. We feel like he's going to be able to, like the team's going to do something for him now rather than him doing something for the team. I'm looking forward to this. Although I am with you. I'm surprised. I thought he might have gone this year, but he's going to wait one more year, plays 4 years. I'm really rooting for him in Cal.
Yeah, I think maybe hopefully this is the place where he gets a little bit more love. Didn't get a lot of love at Rutgers because for everything he didn't win a lot of football games. I'm with you. Physical outside receiver. Like you said, the guy is ripped, big biceps. Like I said, I can't wait to see how long his arms and his hands are because he just looks like he's got big physical long reach. He's lengthy. Like you say, he's strong. He's great at the point of contact. Like you say, tracks the ball well. He's the sidelines his best friend. He does all the fundamentals really well. Like you say, moving downfield and stretching the field. And like you say, now getting, like you say, a versatile mobile quarterback that can throw on the run. Hopefully we start to see, like say, maybe the route tree's a bit different, a bit more work in the middle. Might say it's a big get for Cal. Like say if they want to move the ball downfield, they were pretty explosive best times last year, but it's a good fit for him. Like say maybe, yeah, this year he might have got lost a bit in that those middle rounds. So he's banking on himself having a big year this year. So yeah, like say Rutgers loss, they didn't maximise the most of him. Hopefully will be Cal's gain.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're really rooting for Ian Strong. The Rutgers wide receiver on his way to Cal. Next up, we've got the cornerback, John Tez Williams, who has gone from Iowa State to USC. Now, his 2024 was amazing. Part of one of those Matt Campbell Cyclones defenses. He had 4 interceptions, 5 pass breakups. Through the first 5 weeks of last year, he was on a tear. He gave up 8 receptions out of 15 targeted. He gave up 9 yards of yak on 8 receptions. Basically, you catch the ball against him, you don't go any further. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, one of the best corners there is going, period. And like he was absolutely locked down at Iowa State. Then injury hit against the Kansas game. Like Iowa State's secondary got wrecked by injury last year, and obviously now Matt Campbell's gone to Penn State. But teams have not forgotten about this guy, Ryan. For as much as we laugh at USC for the lack of playoffs and success and that, if you get a starting gig at USC, your odds of getting into the draft go way up. And Jontez Williams, if he rediscovers that 2024 form again, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the country. This feels like a big stage for a big player. You saw what Bishop Fitzgerald did there last year. Again, traitorous bastard. This is a big move for him, and you feel like he will adapt well to USC and the Coliseum.
Yeah, he's definitely earned it. Like you say, putting some tremendous play as part of some great secondaries as a Cyclone, collective units that have been very strong. He's played his part in it, a lot of snaps, his versatility. He's been happy to play wherever he's been asked. You can move him around a bit. Like I say, USC, big market. Like I say, always gets a lot of love. Like I say, instantly becomes probably a bit sexier being a Trojan and being a Cyclone. You kind of get that more buzz, that more appeal about you. Putting in the same forms as, like I say, if you can relive some of that 2024 glory days, then instantly, like you say, he will get a bit more chatter about him going into next year. So could be a big market for him. Purely as the brand of football could be played, like you say, because good Trojans teams usually are very fondly looked upon.
Yeah, yeah, they are. I think he's going to do really well there. So John
Quite
Tez
surprised
will.
he didn't go like Penn State, like every other Cyclones player did.
Yeah, but I guess when you think Penn State, USC, like USC is the place to go to get drafted. Penn State, I know it is on defense, but I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I think USC is the bigger stage for him, so I think he's chosen well. Right, we've got 4 guys left, and then this is done. And we talk of traitors. The offensive tackle Jacarius Peak, our left tackle from NC State, has moved in-state to South Carolina. He's been a 3 year starter for us with the Wolfpack. He was right tackle for the first 2 years, turned over to our left tackle last year. One of the best pass blocking tackles in the ACC. Period. 6'4", 308 pounds. I love him to death. He's going to be with the brand name. Lonoris Sellers obviously looking to recover his draft stock this year. This South Carolina team looking for a bounce back. obviously going to play in the SEC to test himself at the highest of levels there. This is one of the best gets South Carolina could have got because that offensive line needs to be a lot better for them this year. And as much as I hate it, they came and got one of the best they could. And this is a guy who, again, can elevate his draft stock immensely along with Sellers if they have a good season together.
Yeah, like I say, this one, I'd imagine for you personally, stings quite a bit.
They all sting.
Uh, but when you look at needs of last year, well, Norris Sellers was not protected well at all. The poor guy was fighting for his life, most players, like I say, scrambling, trying to make things happen because he was a sitting duck behind such inconsistent Gamecocks offensive line player. So any chance you get an in-state guy to flip that's got multiple years experience at a key position offensive line, well, yeah, you got to do everything you can to try and make them defect. And one team's loss, unfortunately, another one's gain. Like you say, and he obviously sees this as if I can protect Lenore's sellers, it will also help my draft stock as well. If he shines, we all shine, we all win. So it's a
Yeah.
big move for him. Like I say, and hopefully it pays off because, like I say, yeah, Gamecocks need a big year. It's going to have to come in the trenches.
They do indeed. Next up, we've got the cornerback Bo Musco. Going from Rutgers to Texas, another Rutgers guy who's got himself a big promotion this year. Been a 2 year starter for them. He's 5'11", 185. And over the last 2 years, he's had a stellar time with Rutgers. Over 100 tackles, sub 15% missed tackle rate for him, 33 run stops, two forced fumbles, both from this year, two interceptions, eight pass breakups. I mean, again, it's with these guys, it's knowing the system they come from and the talent they create. Rutgers and their DBs, specifically their quarters, have been getting drafted for years now and have been faring well in the NFL. It is a good pipeline system, and this is a big promotion for Bo Masco onto a Texas team, which again you figure is going to be in the national limelight this year with the amount of players they've brought in. But in that Texas secondary, obviously guys like Taff and that have gone. I know he's a safety, but there's needs to be had there. But again, the biggest stage for him to show off after toiling away in that Rutgers team, doing what he can. A well-earned promotion for Bo Masco.
Yeah, like you say, Rutgers corners in recent years done pretty well. Max Melton, uh, I always forget the other guy's
Longer
name.
beam,
Yep.
Robert Longer
Yeah,
beam.
I've been, yeah, like I said, they've made their way to the National Football League, like you say, and they've made him impact at the next level. So he's done his time here, and now he's realised, like you say, he's looked at that Texas vacancy, thought I can help crack their roster, solidify that position, while also helping to prove that, like you say, he can go from the Big Ten to the SEC up against the best receivers in football. The kid will be going up against Cam Coleman in practice. Iron sharpens iron. It has to make him a better player, whether or not he plays as a rotational or limited snaps. He'll see it as I will be a better player for it, and all for him, like I say, earn some coin, like I say, and potentially, like I say, make a bit of a name for yourself in the next draft cycle.
Absolutely. Bo Masco going from Rutgers to Texas. Our final two. Texas Tech lost a lot on their defensive line, their front seven this year, specifically including Jacob Rodriguez, the best linebacker in college football per se. So, how do you replace the best linebacker in college football and a really critical part of your front seven? You go into the portal and get one of the best guys that the linebacking options are in there. You've got the linebacker Austin Romaine from Kansas State, and that must sting like a mother for the Wildcats. He is a run defensive specialist. And again, he plays I mean, he plays from his middle linebacker spot, but he's a blitzer. Over his career with Kansas State, he's had 3 years. It's going to be a 1 year assignment for him there, but he's 44 QB pressures from his spot, 4 sacks, 11 hits, a batted pass, and 200 tackles for him. The missed tackle rate's his only thing. It's 21%, which needs to come down. But three forced fumbles, an interception, and two PBUs, both from last year. The coverage has really come along with him. I mean, they've lost so much Texas Tech have this year, but they got money, right? And when you got money, you can go and make these sort of things. And Austin Romaine's been one of the best linebackers in the Big 12 over the last 2 years. It is not a bad option to be able to nip in the pocket to replace Jacob Rodriguez. He should eat like a fly on, as they say in Lubbock.
If you can't beat him, join him. He's played Texas Tech twice. He's got 20 tackles, a sack, and an interception. So the Red Raiders know who Austin Roman is and know what he can do. He's hurt them in both times he's played them. As you say, Jacob Rodriguez is gone. That leaves John Curry is like a weak side safety linebacker. They do need an instant upgrade in the middle. Like you say, Romain is tall, he's rangy, he's muscular, he's physical, he's well-rounded. Like I say, Texas Tech has got the checkbook. Like I say, if you make one enemy weaker or making yourself stronger, that's just a win. Right, because he will punish Kansas State as soon as he gets on the field. There will be no love lost when he lines up against them. Right, say so. This is a great get for them. One of the best defenses in the country, as you say, ravaged. Like I say, they have been pillaged because they were so good. So going out and getting instant, at least similar level starters had to be at the best minimum. Yeah, and remain like I say, natural glove to fit in at that Mike linebacker spot role.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He's just going to eat there. If you say you put him in there as up for the Butkus next year, right now, wouldn't you, as best
Yeah.
linebacker in the nation? You'd say he's a front runner for the Butkus in that Texas Tech defense. So yeah, that's just the impact he's going to have there. But Austin Romaine gone from Kansas State to Texas Tech, and the final one, the man that time forgot, Ryan. But I know you specifically won't have Terry Moore, the safety from Duke. In 2024, it was, I think you could say what, best safety in the nation? I think you could say this guy
Yeah,
was the
definitely
year
wasn't.
he'd had at Duke. He graded over 90 on PFF, but just the sheer impact he had 70 tackles, two forced fumbles, four interceptions, five PBUs. He's 6'1, 200 pounds. He hits like a truck, but dances like a ballerina. And you throw the ball in his direction, you're not going to get it back. One of the most decorated safeties in the nation, came back to Duke for a third year, which was a massive coup for them. And then he got hurt and he didn't play throughout 2024, 2025 whatsoever, missed an entire season through injury. He is healthy, he is ready to go now, and he's moved to Ohio State, who have just put Caleb Downs through it all. He's going as a top five pick in the draft. They need safety help there. They've bought in the Edwin Joseph, I think, from FSU. One of the best safety pairings they've bought in, but you've got to figure if Terry Moore is even 80% of the player that he was in 2024, he's a first round draft pick going to Ohio State in that system there. This is the man time forgot, but you figure he's going to make people remember very quickly just how special he is as a player.
Oh yeah, like I say, if it weren't for that torn ACL, he's probably like you say a top 50 draft pick this year.
Oh, he
Like you
probably
say,
declares.
like you say, he could be in like you say up there with like you say some Dylan Tyneman, fringe first rounder. He would firmly be in that conversation. Like you say, but yeah, decided like you say to come back, saw Caleb Downs declare, saw the big gaping hole in the back of the Buckeye secondary, thought to himself, he's healthy, he's rehabbing. Like it's a 6'1", 200, elite talent, great physicality, tons of production. Like I say, been unfortunate, but clearly, like I say, the Buckeyes didn't forget about him. They must have been watching him the whole point. Like I say, he's got a chance, like I say, go to one of the biggest, best teams in football. Like I say, it's got got a great reputation at the position he's in. Got a chance, like I say, put together a great year. And like I say, yeah, if you told me he goes out and has three, four interceptions and he's a first round pick in 2027, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think
No,
anyone would be.
no.
Like I say, class is permanent. I mean, class is for him, but permanent. Like I say, he has got talent. Like I
Yeah.
say, that won't just go away because of a torn ACL.
No. And that'll probably be the only thing that hangs above him, even if he has a good year, is will the knee hold up? But the way he plays, like, he was special. And like it feels like everyone's forgotten about him. And you do, if you're out for a year, people forget who you are. But this could be an inspired move from Ohio State. Get him while the stock's down and maybe teams aren't looking at him and then just reap the rewards because he could be the best safety in the nation next year, period. And he might not have competition for that spot if he does what he does. So Terry Moore going there to Ohio State. And for the final time, I will share this so you can just see who we have been chatting about. So the Power 5 to Power 5 transfers we'll keep an eye on next year. The defensive end, Toby Samney from K-State to Indiana is the honorable mention. Got the edge, TJ Bush from Cal to Minnesota. The linebacker, Rasheem Biles from Pittsburgh to Texas. Linebacker, Cade Olawave from California to BYU. Francis Brew, the D tackle going from Pitt to Notre Dame. Ian Strong, the wide receiver from Rutgers to Cal. Quarterback, John Tez Williams going from Iowa State to USC. Tackle, Jacarius Peak going from NC State to South Carolina. Bo Masco, the corner from Rutgers to Texas. Austin Romaine, the linebacker from K-State to Texas Tech. And finally, Terry Moore, the safety from Duke to Ohio State. Before we get out of here, is there any other transfers you want to mention before we do?
Yeah. I think a sneaky good one, if you're looking at a guy that could be a first round pick next year, I think it's Prince Man Milan. Like I say, didn't get a lot of love this year. Had 9 sacks, but had a career year at Ole Miss. Huge loss for them. Like I say, you see Harold Perkins leaving. Like I say, LSU. Big upgrade to the Tigers defense. 6'5", 245, just like his brother Princely, who was a fringe second, third round pick for the Panthers. Had a okay rookie year. But I think if you're looking at someone that could instantly come in and light up the nation, like I say 12, 13, 14 sacks, I think the stars could align and Princewell goes out there. I think he has. I think he's going to be one of the most dominant pass rushers in the country this year.
Do you
I
think
think
he
he's got
gets?
a big point to prove.
Do you think he gets negative rep from being associated with his brother who promised so much and never did?
Yeah, he did talk a good game, Princely. Like you say, he had a good career, but didn't live up to it. But I think Princewell, like you say, younger, he's flashier, he's just as big. Like I say, I think he's going to go out this year, absolutely
Yep.
smash it. I think he's one of the best players in the SEC this year.
No, I get behind that absolutely. Yep. Anyone else, or we good?
Uh,
I've got like three. Could have done so many. Like you could have done
Arian
it.
Mensah will win the Heisman as a Hurricane. That's my very early prediction.
Oh, see, I thought you would have mentioned more about Barkati as his receiver. I thought you were higher on Barkati, but Barkati could be good.
Yeah.
They work together.
Like I like saying, and you've got the star true freshman. Yeah, Miami won't skip a beat.
Yeah, there's a few sort of on the periphery, like Trey Brown, the old Dominion receiver's gone to LSU, but I figure he's going to get buried in that depth chart this year. But I love what he could possibly do there. Was there anyone else? Obviously, all the FIU DBs who've gone elsewhere, I expect them to do well. Oh God, there was,
Dante Cook,
yeah,
like I said to Ole Miss, how well do they do with transfer receivers?
yeah,
He
yeah,
could have a big year from Syracuse.
yeah, they could. Yeah. Again, there's so many you can do with this. Obviously, a lot are gonna hit. Not all these ones are gonna, but trying to go through 130 transfer portal classes takes time, and you've got to got to cut some here and there. So yeah, I think that is just about everything for today. Been a long one, but obviously it's draft year and it's college year. We need to get as many of these players out there as possible. So thank you all for joining with us this evening. We'll be back on a weekly basis from now going forward. I'm not sure what we'll do next week, but we'll be doing some draft stuff eventually. We never got a chance to do our final end of season mock draft, so we'll have to do some mock drafts at some point. But the combine's coming up. We'll look at the combine. The Legacy Ball's coming up, so we'll do the HBCU stuff as well. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up here for us. The main podcast will be back on Monday. That draft prospect season starting as well, and we got a lot in the pipeline. So appreciate all of you who have been with us. You know where to find us. Roar of the Lions UK. Just remains me to thank Rye. Good to be doing this again, and then yeah, we shall see you all again soon. Take care. One pride.